378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. Declaration of Deal Sales Event.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. After suffering an injury, you may face many hard questions. What will tomorrow bring? Which firm should I choose to represent me and my family? At Morgan & Morgan, we will hold your hand every step of the way. From our one-click sign-up, mobile apps, and 24/7 availability, we make it easy to get your case started right from the comfort of your couch. All firms are not the same. The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Want to unlock the power of athlete marketing to grow your business? Garnet Trust has recently launched a business membership program, making it easier than ever for your business to work directly with a USC student athlete. Visit garnettrust.com today or call 803-250-1765 to see your business move.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Look at your traffic and weather for your ride in on this Monday morning. Don't have a ton going on the roadways as of right now, which is a good thing. In fact, as I check here, all the accidents that were on my screen have cleared up, so that's a good start to the week. Hopefully it stays that way today. Weather-wise, it's going to be high of 74, currently 56 here in downtown Columbia on the Game.
Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
But everything 9 o'clock on your Monday morning. Welcome in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri along with you here on the Game. We got a lot of things to get into. Talk some baseball. Talk some horses as well, because apparently South Carolina is really good when it comes to equestrian, coming up later in the show. But Jack, as we start things off, how was your weekend?
It was good. I was at baseball all weekend for the most part. Spent some long days out there at Founders Park. Didn't really get to do a ton besides that. But, yeah, man, you know, the weather was wonderful this weekend. I say that with the exception of Sunday being it said it was in the 60s, but, man, it felt like it was definitely in the 50s. And it's crazy how we can go from 90 degrees on Friday and Saturday to Sunday it's in the 50s. But if you do want to hear a funny story,
sure.
I'm fine sharing this on air.
Go for it.
So Saturday, I got back from baseball. Again, I live like right near Founders, so I was walking back, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to the pool, at the apartment. It's nice outside. I'm going to hang out there for a little bit.
Sure.
I'm sitting down in a chair, just trying to catch some sun, whatever. I feel something hit me, and I'm like, what is this? Like, did a bug come on me or something? A bird pooped on me.
Oh no.
That was fun. And of course, at the same time, I'm on FaceTime with Caroline, and she gets to, of course, make fun of me and then just laugh at my misery there. Yeah, I've never had a bird take a dump on me, but that's what happened, and yeah, it was disgusting. So
now, were you the only person at the pool when this happened?
No, there was a couple in the pool, and I tried to keep it cool and not freak out too much, because it was quite disgusting, to be honest. And then I texted my family, and even Caroline's family. They were all like, "Oh, it's good luck." I'm like, how is that good luck to have a bird poop on you and suddenly that's good luck. I don't know. I mean, it hasn't really changed the luck of baseball much since I've been there. So
now, have you bought a lottery ticket since?
I've not. Maybe I should.
Go for it.
Maybe there's still time. Maybe there's like a 5-day window before.
Capitalize on it. Now, where did this hit you? Like, where did it land?
It hit my arm. Like,
okay, all right.
Like my bicep. So that was, that was interesting. I've never had that happen before. I'm sure it's happened to other people before. Obviously, probably gotten it worse. Like I can imagine, like on the head or something. That would be that's a mess to even. I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty easy clean afterwards. But safe to say I went in the pool directly afterwards to get the stench off as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, I've never heard of it being good luck, but that sounds like an old wives' tale if I've ever heard one before. So yeah, try and capitalize on this. I don't know what the window of luck opportunity is when a bird poops on you, but try and take advantage of it.
Yeah, I tried bringing that good luck out to baseball this weekend, but did not really seem to do the trick after Saturday. But yeah, man. But otherwise, good weekend. How about you? Good weekend for you?
Yeah, we went to the beach on Saturday. We're big fans of Isle of Palms, and I love the fact that I can wake up in my own bed, go to the beach, and then sleep in my own bed that night. That's the flexibility you have living in a state like South Carolina. Because when I was a kid, like we lived in the middle of Georgia, or not quite, like northern central Georgia, kind of just outside of Atlanta. So getting to the beach was always like a 5 to 6 hour trip. So the idea of being able to go and come back in one day, I love that. We hung out, and it was like high 70s. It wasn't 90 degrees like it was here. Sun was shining the entire time. I didn't get sunburnt, so that's always a plus. Had some good food and just enjoyed a day hanging out by the ocean.
Nice. Now, Isle of Palms is out near Charleston. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's right next to Charleston. So when you're going to Charleston, if you basically kind of go to the left, you go to Isle of Palms, and then Charleston, like you can see the Charleston Bay when you're on the beach, basically.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we all had good weekends, man. But the Gamecocks,
well,
depending on which sport you look at,
yes,
there's some good stuff out there. But for the baseball team, not the weekend they were hoping for.
Let's get into it right after our Sandstorm pick-me-up. It is time for your 9 a.m. Sandstorm Pick-Me-Up, brought to you by South Carolina's largest injury law firm, George Sink Injury Lawyers. If you've been hit in the car or at work, call George Sink now at 803 all 9s. Mentioning Diamond Sports real quick before we get into baseball, do want to mention that softball did actually have a pretty good week, and they took 2 out of 3 on the road at Missouri. They've obviously had a tough time of late when it came to conference play. So good to see them get a series win, Jack. Unfortunately, that was not the case for baseball over the weekend, because we had some hope, right? We had a little semblance of hope, like, hey, 4-game winning streak, you're coming in off of a sweep on the road yourself at Missouri, like maybe there's something here. And then, well, you strike out 44 times on the weekend, and that kind of tells you the story of what happened.
Especially considering Mississippi State had been struggling too. It kind of felt like the perfect storm for South Carolina to get their season back on course a little bit. But yeah, at this point, the season, it's not over, obviously, because you have 16 games left, but for all intents and purposes, like, it's not going well, and there's probably not much hope left that this thing's going to be. Barring a nice run at the SEC tournament to win the conference, I just don't see this team getting to the postseason right now. I mean, who knows? But right now, things are just not looking good, and this weekend was your opportunity to get back in the hunt. And it's safe to say you've taken a few steps back. Yeah, you mentioned it. Struck out 44 times this weekend. The at-bats just felt so uncompetitive outside of a few moments here and there. Ethan Lozama homered on Friday. That was a nice moment to get South Carolina back in the game and make that game close. Ultimately, you lost that game. Saturday was just terrible, to put it quite honestly. 18 strikeouts. That's a season high for South Carolina this season. And then you struck out 12 more times on Sunday. Showed a little bit of life. I know we'll get into what happened in the 8th inning of that game, but you did show some life to tie the game. So that, kudos to that. But after that, you had opportunities to win this game and put the nail in the coffin and just never could. And I don't know if a win on Sunday would have made a huge difference. It would have helped a little bit maybe. But, yeah, just a really rough weekend for South Carolina. Again, you were close in some of these games. You lost a 2-run game. You lost a 1-run game. But that doesn't change the fact that you're what now 19-22 on the year, 5-13 in the conference. Like the hole just continues to get deeper for this program.
Here's Miney Lee on yesterday talking about the 44 strikeouts on the weekend.
Part of it is pressing, and I think that's part of it. I think that's a huge part of it is, we just got some guys that, have been pressing at the plate and trying too hard and not being quite as selective as we would like for them to be. But, hopefully, again, with us being competitive there in the second half of the game, last 9 outs of the game or so, hopefully by putting together some good at-bats there at the end, Pat Evans, 2-strike base hit. Thought Bott looked good today. Talmadge, Talmadge fought his rear end off. If the wind wasn't blowing in, might have left the ballpark there. Jake Randolph came up with a big hit for us and hit a ball hard to left center field. Thought he looked better at the plate today. Harmon had a nice day today. We just got to get, if we can get, again, a handful of those guys that have been scuffling some at the plate, if we can get them going again, we got a chance to be more productive offensively and win more games. It's that simple because, we continue to pitch pretty well. It's proud of how we pitched today.
And again, you had already lost the series at this point in time, but you had an opportunity to potentially at least walk out of the weekend not getting swept. And as you alluded to a moment ago, Jack, you were able to tie the game up there in the bottom of the 8th inning. Did leave a little bit to be desired when it came to some of the base running, though.
Yeah, let's break that all down because I think it needs to be clarified, what was acceptable, what was unacceptable, everything in between. So there's like 3 different sequences in that 8th inning that I'm going to run through here just to talk about what happened. So first off, South Carolina's got runners at second and third, nobody out. Will Craddock, who is very important to this whole debacle in the 8th inning, hits a ground ball hard towards third base. You got to keep in mind, Ace Reese, the third baseman for Mississippi State, is playing back, which, and Monty explained this pretty well after the game, when a third baseman's playing back, because in that situation, Mississippi State was not playing infield in. If they're playing infield in, that means they're going to throw towards home if a ball is hit anywhere in the infield. Since they were all playing back, they're essentially okay with South Carolina scoring a run in that situation. Now, because the ball was hit pretty hard, Reese decided to throw towards home. Patrick Evans is gunned out at the plate. I understand the sentiment that, maybe you don't send him in that situation. But again, like Monty said, 9 times out of 10, they're throwing towards first base there and just getting the out and giving up the run, especially up by 2. But because of how hard the ball was hit, Mississippi State decided to go to the plate. The next big situation, probably the worst offender here, is Talmadge Lecroy comes about a few inches away from a 3-run homer to give South Carolina the lead. And I think they would have gone on to win the game afterwards, considering how the 9th inning went. The ball hits off the top of the wall, and it's only a single for Lecroy. Now, the problem was they scored the 1 run, but Will Craddock, who, again, he's a freshman, he's going through his first season, apparently, and I have not seen a replay of it yet, but even Monty explained it after the game. Like, it looked like Craddock was tagging up at first base. Like, typically when a ball is hit in the air and it might get down, you should probably be about halfway towards second base. But it looked like he was tagging up at first, thinking maybe it's a fly out, whatever the case might be. That probably cost South Carolina a chance to get at least second and third with, at the time, I think it was 1 out. So just awful base running there. I don't know what was going on in that situation. Just very inexcusable. And then, honestly, this is probably the weakest offender, is Jake Randolph tied the game with an RBI ground out. But in reality, it probably should have been an RBI single. He's not very quick. But what I will say is, and Tyler, maybe you can chime in on this, looking at the broadcast, it looked like live, he just looked like he was taking such a weird path running to first base. Like, it kind of looked like he was hooking around first a little bit, like he was about to turn it into like a double. Like, I have no idea what was going on. But yeah, I mean, that base running there potentially cost South Carolina a chance to extend the inning even further, because it was a weakly hit, middle of the infield ground ball. So just a lot of bad base running for South Carolina. I think a lot of it does have to do with poor coaching in that situation, like some bad sends, obviously. But I think it also has to do with the fact that, like, for a guy like Craddock, I mean, what are you doing going back and tagging up at first? You got to at least stand halfway between first and second. And when the ball drops, you make it to third easily, I think, even though it was hit towards left field. No chance he'd score on that, I don't think. But, again, base running has been an issue for South Carolina all year. They've been very, very bad fundamentally. That eighth inning kind of just summed up why they are in the position they are.
Well, it goes to what we talk about so much, where you have to put together all facets of the game to be able to win, especially in the SEC. And, when you're pitching or hitting or doing their job, it's a problem when it comes to fielding. When fielding's a problem and the pitching isn't good, the hitting's, picking up the slack. Or the hitting's doing fine. And on Sunday, you had an issue when it came to base running in a game that, in the grand scheme of things, didn't change a whole lot because you'd already lost the series at that point in time, but would have felt at least good to come out of the weekend not getting swept. You did force the game to go into extra innings, obviously coming up short there. And, again, it's been a frustrating season overall, and I think that end of the game was a perfect summation of that.
Yeah, I mean, again, the eighth inning was just... You should have been able to score another run there somehow, some way. But yeah, just a real rough weekend offensively. There's no sugarcoating that. 6 runs, 44 strikeouts. You're just not winning series when you score that little runs. And it's been the way all year. I mean, the pitching gives you a chance. The defense has actually been better, even though there were a few mistakes this weekend. Fielding percentage-wise, they've improved a lot. But, yeah, offensively, it's been the big issue all year. They're barely hitting 200 in SEC play, and that's just not going to win you any ball games.
Yeah, and out of the 29 innings you played this weekend, you scored in 3 of them. Of course, didn't score any runs on Saturday and only scored twice on Sunday. 1 run, or the Lizama homer on Friday was all the scoring you did in that game. So when you're only scoring in 3 of nearly 30 innings in the entire weekend, that's usually not going to be enough to get it done. And again, for what, and I guess the thing that I want to get into this a little bit more on the other side, as well as what Minded Lee had to say about overcoaching, because there's a lot more to unpack from this weekend, which we'll do coming up next. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri here on your Monday on the Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Are you a small business owner, a church, or other entity in need of a new HVAC system? Well, AAA Heating and Air has exciting news for you then. AAA now offers financing to qualified organizations to aid them in installing a new light commercial HVAC system. It's as easy as calling AAA Heating and Air for a quote or finding them online at callAAAtoday.com. Tell them Jack from 107.5 The Game sent you. At AAA Heating and Air, they've got your back. They're offering up to 12-month payment plans on repairs with no credit check required. That's right. No need to worry about your credit score in this case. As long as you're a homeowner with a valid bank account, you'll be good to go. So take control of your comfort today by giving a call to AAA Heating and Air at 803-677-1500. Again, the number to call AAA is 803-677-1500. Give them a call today and breathe easy again.
The future stars of the PGA Tour are coming to Columbia. The Colonial Life Charity Classic is bringing championship golf to the Wood Creek Club May 14th through 17th. Be there to experience the intensity up close as tomorrow's champions battle it out on every hole. Bring the family and take in the tournament atmosphere, excitement, and a full week of entertainment built for all ages. Don't miss your chance to witness the journey to the top. The Colonial Life Charity Classic. Get your tickets now.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Join the Lexington Health Foundation on Friday, May 1st at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center for the McDaniels Gala. Dress your black tie best and enjoy delicious food, open bars with signature cocktails, specialty tasting rooms, exciting auctions, fun photos, and more. Proceeds benefit the McDaniels Pucci Cancer Fund to support patients and families at Lexington Health Cancer Center from diagnosis to survivorship. Purchase your tickets today at lexhealth.com/McDaniels Gala. Vista Roofing, your local CertainTeed Select Shingle Master. Looking for a roof that's built to last? Trust the certified experts at Vista Roofing for professional installation, top-tier materials, and peace of mind backed by industry-leading warranties. From repairs to full replacements, Vista Roofing delivers durable results and exceptional service. Call now or visit VistaRoofingINC.com to schedule your free estimate. Vista Roofing, raising the standard one shingle at a time.
Hey, it's Sam. If you're curious about a career in media, marketing, or digital, this is for you. Cumulus Media Columbia is hosting a Careers in Media open house Thursday, April 23rd from 11 to 1 at their studios at 1301 Gervais Street. You'll meet radio pros, learn about paid opportunities, drop off your resume, and even check out behind-the-scenes studios and podcasts. It's casual, it's free, and it's a great way to get your foot in the door. Email Jeannie, JEANNIE, .Jackson@cumulus.com to register. I'll see you there.
My name is Michelle Nienhuis, Manager of Prevention and Intervention Services with the South Carolina Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, Office of Substance Use Services. Partnership with Cumulus Digital has helped us reach the right audience and grow our outreach to the communities across the state of South Carolina. Their digital strategy delivered real, measurable results.
See how it can work for you at the Digital Seminar. Your business, your customers, your growth. April 30th at the Hilton Garden Inn on Pickens Street. RSVP now. Call pound 250, keyword digital impact.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri with you here on your Monday on the Game. Going over another frustrating weekend when it came to Gamecock baseball, getting swept by Mississippi State. And I think one of the most frustrating aspects of this was what we talked about going into the weekend. This was a Mississippi State team that was scuffling, right? They'd gotten swept in their past two series, both of them coming at home against Georgia and Tennessee, respectively. We questioned if Brian O'Connor had upset the team with the comments that he made after their win against Grambling a couple weeks ago, because they haven't really looked the same since. And they came in and, quite frankly, got themselves right. You never want to be the get-right game. Or series in this instance, and Carolina was the get-right game for what is a good Mississippi State team, but one that we were hoping Carolina was going to be able to take advantage of by being down, and that wasn't the case on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mississippi State is definitely they definitely were scuffling. They had just gotten swept back-to-back SEC weekends, but they're as well regarded for a reason, right? Top 5 coming into the year in the country. Brian O'Connor. Great head coach from his time at Virginia, obviously. Great players. I mean, this Mississippi State team was due to break out at some point and get back on track. It's a long season. You're going to go through ups and downs, and Mississippi State was going through some downs. Now at this point, they're probably going to get themselves back on track. I mean, I think I saw yesterday on the broadcast, they're a projected 2 seed right now in a regional with a nice little stretch here. They got LSU coming up this weekend. Like, with a nice stretch here, they can easily get themselves on track towards hosting and potentially even being a national seed. And yeah, when you play teams like South Carolina, like, you're supposed to beat them the way that Mississippi State did. And they left, no crumbs. They handled their business for sure.
The worst game of the weekend was definitely Saturday. Carolina falls 9-0 and 18 strikeouts in that game. Am I correct on that?
Yes. 18 strikeouts is a season high.
Definitely a season high for sure. And Monty Lee, after that game, was asked about, how he's trying to fix things offensively. And he said he might even just be overcoaching a little bit. Here's what he had to say.
Well,
I wish I knew that answer. I feel like I may be almost overcoaching them, to a degree. Just constantly trying to show up every day and work on the things that we need to improve on and we need to get better at. And maybe they're just kind of hyper-focused in those areas and it's leading to some failure. I mean, that's really the only answer I can give you, but probably just trying to do maybe too much as a coach to put them in a better position to be successful. That's really the only answer that I have. I mean, I feel like we're working on and talking about the things that we need to improve on and we need to get better at, and maybe to a fault. So I think at this point in the season, look, it's largely up to them, right? I mean, they have to go out there and play, and I think they have to, take ownership in it as well. And I'm just the kind of guy that it always should fall on the coaches, right? If things aren't going well, you're supposed to be accountable for the failures of your team because that's why you got into coaching in the first place. So I take responsibility in that. I just have to figure out if I need to back off or, just keep pushing forward and trying to find a way to send the right messages. But, and I think it's a combination too of, when pitchers execute and they do a good job, as talented as the pitchers are in this league, they can make it tough on you. I think it's probably a combination of all of that. But we need to find the answer. We need to be better than we were today. And I think, again, this was a bad game for us. I mean, this was a tough one in all areas for us. That's just the bottom line. We're much better than what we showed today, and we need to find a way to be better tomorrow and get going back in the right direction.
And again, that was Miami Lee after Saturday's game where they lost 9-0 and struck out 18 times. And the reason I thought that was interesting, I don't envy the position that Miami Lee is in, right? And look, he took over a team that was struggling and got their doors blown off in Paul Mainieri's last game against Arkansas, and at that point in time, the fourth SEC game of the season. And with him taking over that early, there was still ample opportunity to completely turn this season around. There's ample opportunity to play your way in to the NCAA tournament, to make a strong case for yourself to get this job as the full-time head coach. So Miami Lee's balancing a lot of that while also trying to implement truly what your offensive identity is. Because, again, it's very clear he and Mainieri are butting heads over what they wanted these guys to do at the plate. And it's not as easy as just saying, all right, guys, here's what we're going to suddenly start doing in the middle of the season, and it working. And he's been trying to implement that over these past handful of weeks, but it's given us varying results. So Monty Lee is dealing with a lot, and I can understand why he might feel like he's overcoaching this team, trying to account for essentially lost time when he was the assistant under Paul Mainieri.
I just don't think it's realistic to expect that, the offensive approach was just going to – you could change it overnight, but it wasn't going to automatically lead to differing results overnight, if that makes sense. It just takes time. And, when you have differing philosophies, like Mainieri was all about, swinging at any pitch. And, he always said, that they don't take walks, they earn walks. And, he wasn't a big fan of the walk in general. Meanwhile, you got Monty here who, yes, they've struck out a lot, but some of the guys, have taken walks and they have taken a little bit more pitches. But there's been situations where they've been aggressive too against, guys that throw strikes in the zone, and you gotta, be a little early in the count swinging. I think the bigger issue is, and honestly, this goes back to before the season. I just think the recruiting approach really hurt this team. When you look at their starting lineup, it's mostly comprised of, you have KJ Scobie, he's a returner. You have Will Craddock, he's a freshman. Besides that, I'll run through Saturday's lineup. Patrick Evans is from JUCO. Tyler Bach is a mid-major guy. Lee Croy, obviously, he's been here for a while. Lozama's mid-major. Aaron Jameson, JUCO. Dawson Harmon, JUCO. Luke Uhas, mid-major. Now, why does that matter? I think, number one, it's fine to recruit guys that are from those levels because obviously they had results at those levels. The problem, I think, and this is probably a good question to ask Monty at some point, is the fact that the pitching is just so different at those levels. Sure, you'll probably face a guy here and there that is SEC caliber, but I don't think it's nothing that can prepare you for every Friday night or honestly every weekend at this point I mean, depending on the rotation, you got guys that are not just throwing mid-90s, but they also know how to locate their stuff. That's the big thing about, like, a team like Mississippi State. They have really good pitchers all over the diamond, like all over that staff. They are littered with really good pitching. And for the most part this year, South Carolina just has looked overmatched and uncompetitive. I think they are at a competitive disadvantage because I just don't think they have the SEC caliber hitting to keep up in this league. And it's obvious and evident by the results. Like, sure, they're better than Missouri, but compared to the rest of the SEC, like, they're just not on that same level.
Yeah, and Monty Lee wouldn't publicly come out and say anything like this, but I almost wonder how many of these guys would be playing for this team if Monty Lee truly had his say on what they brought in the offseason. Because, again, a lot of these guys were what Mainieri wanted, considering the fact he didn't feel like he had the right guys in place a season ago. But if Monty Lee was in full control of bringing in this roster for his offense, I wonder how many of these guys would have still been on this team.
And what I will say is Monty does, communicate recruiting-wise with the hitting, but he's not the recruiting coordinator, right? Terry Rooney's the recruiting coordinator. Then obviously Mainieri has the final say on a lot of the guys. It's fine to recruit some mid-major and JUCO guys. Like, obviously you got to fill out a roster, but when you're kind of banking on a lot of those guys to fill out your roster and then be productive, it's kind of a gamble in a lot of ways, just because, again, the pitching and the quality of opponent and competition is just so different. And even some of the power guys they brought in, like, they didn't really play at those schools. Like, Eric Parker didn't play at Georgia. Logan Sutter, who's probably been the biggest struggler, hasn't played in weeks, it feels like. He's a guy that was killing it at Purdue. But Big Ten pitching is so different compared to the SEC. So I think that's a lesson to be learned here is look, you did what you had to do to fill out the roster, and you seemingly on paper had a good recruiting class. But the problem is that the hitting just cannot stack up against the quality of pitching you're facing every weekend.
They're back in action tomorrow night, taking on Presbyterian over at Founders Park. Pregame coverage at 6:15 for a 6:30 first pitch. Of course, you can listen to that right here on 107.5 The Game. Speaking of the transfer portal, men's basketball adding a few more commits over the weekend. We'll dive into that. Also, vibe check on how we're feeling 4 commits in. That's coming up next. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri on your Monday on The Game.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, The Game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, The Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
If you need orthopedic or neurosurgical care, it's a big deal to you and to us. At Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, we offer easy access to seasoned physicians with the most extensive outpatient experience in the region. Whether it's joint replacement, a neck or back procedure, or injury care, you can trust us to provide customized treatment plans with easy access, great outcomes, and lower cost to you. Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery.
The Colonial Life Charity Classic is coming to the Wood Creek Club right here in Columbia, May 14th through the 17th. This is your chance to watch the next generation of PGA Tour stars up close. Before Justin Thomas and Scottie Scheffler were household names, they were right here on the Korn Ferry Tour. This is where the journey begins. Every shot bringing them closer to the PGA Tour. Tomorrow's champions are teeing it up today. Get your tickets now for the Colonial Life Charity Classic.
Gamecock fans, are you ready? This is your shot to meet the future of South Carolina football. QB1, Lenora Sellers, live Saturday, May 2nd, 11 to 12:30, only at Gamecock Traditions. Tickets just $10. That's right, $10 gets you an autograph and $10 off your gear. But listen up, only 250 tickets. No walk-ups, no outside items. When they're gone, they're gone. This will sell out, so don't get left out. Lock in your spot now and meet Lenora Sellers live. Shepherd's Glass has provided commercial, residential, and auto glass installation, repair, and replacement to Columbia for over 50 years. Large retail storefronts, auto, custom shower enclosures, and mirrors for that remodeling or new construction project. Visit shepherdsglass.com to see and learn more. Now with 2 locations on Platte Springs Road in West Columbia and Chapin at 855 Chapin Road. shepherdsglass.com.
Shepherd's Glass, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
Hey, that was our exit. We're gonna miss the first pitch.
Just gotta make a stop at Kroger. I promised I'd bring nachos.
Nice. You have the Upside app too, right?
Upside? What's that?
Upside is a free app that gets you cash back when you buy groceries. And they just added Kroger stores in Columbia.
Wait, I can get money back just for buying groceries?
Yep. And right now, you can get an extra $10 bonus on your first Kroger trip with the app. That's up to $25 cash back on one grocery run.
Even this Kroger store right here?
Yes. Now pull over. Let's get some cash back on those nachos.
Upside is now available for Kroger stores in the Columbia area. Download the free Upside app and use promo code FAM3 to get a $10 bonus on your first purchase at Kroger. That's promo code FAM3. Remember, use promo code FAM3.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Want to unlock the power of athlete marketing to grow your business? Garnet Trust has recently launched a business membership program, making it easier than ever for your business to work directly with a USC student athlete. Visit garnettrust.com today or call 803-250-1765 to see your business boom.
Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri with you here on your Monday on the Game. Business starting to pick up a little bit more for South Carolina in the transfer portal as we went into the weekend with 2 commits so far, Corey Mincy and Camden Heidi. And we come away from the weekend with 2 more, Jacks. We've doubled our total commitments, bringing them up to 4 with Shane Blakeney, the guard from Drexel, committing over the weekend, as well as, I got to help me out with this because I haven't tried to pronounce this one yet, Alexis Beliakis. I know I screwed that up.
I tried pronouncing this the other day. Let me run through it. Oh, I think it's probably Alexis Bielauskas.
Sure,
Alexis Bielauskas is how I'm going to pronounce it. At least it's not like Mike Sharvajomp's name was so tough to pronounce.
But we got used to it.
Yeah, you got used to it. But like that summer last year was just like, how do you even pronounce this guy's name? Like, there were so many different, I think, wrong pronunciations.
We need Wes Mitchell as our pronunciation expert, so I'm going to have him take a crack at this later, and he can teach us all how to say it.
Yeah, I'm down with that. That sounds good.
But AB for short. We'll call him AB for now.
Yeah, there we go.
6'10". He's played center, played forward when he was at Wisconsin, averaged about 5 points a game, averaged 4.4 rebounds per game, which would have been second best on the South Carolina team this past year had he played for them. 43% of the field, 34% from 3. And one thing to note, he was a true freshman this past year and did earn his way into the starting lineup for that Wisconsin team that, of course, did make the NCAA tournament. And then Shane Blakeney, the guard from Drexel, originally from the Lexington area, so coming back home there, 6'5", leader for the Dragons in scoring, rebounding, block shots, and steals, and was a second team in assist and was the second-team All-CAA performer and a CAA All-Defensive selection for them this past year.
Yeah, let's start with Bielauskas from Wisconsin, 6'10", 235, from Lithuania. He's got a lot of the big thing is he's got a lot of eligibility left. So he'll be entering his sophomore year, so he'll have at most 3 years of eligibility left. And I kind of like this little path they're going down of recruiting some guys that have multiple years of eligibility left. I think that's good to build a little bit of foundation, right? And I think a guy like Bielauskas here, we'll see if he starts. We'll see if he comes off the bench. Obviously, they still have to add more pieces in the front court. But I kind of like this addition. Now, I think everyone's going to scoff at the points per game and whatnot. That's obviously not great. 4.4 rebounds per game. You'd like that to be a little bit higher. But what he does have is experience. And playing the Big Ten, I know we joke about it with baseball not being great, but when it comes to basketball, the Big Ten is very competitive and very good, especially at a school like Wisconsin where, the Badgers made the tournament this year, and that's experience right there. And he started 28 games, played about 20 minutes per game, 43% shooter, 34% from three-point range. So I think this could be a sneaky good addition. We'll see it again if he's going to be a starting type player or not. But again, he gives you size. He comes from a good conference. I think there's a lot to like here.
Well,
let's talk about that, and then we'll jump into Blakeney.
I was gonna say he'd be starting right now because you only have 6 guys on the team in total.
Yeah, right now he'll be starting, but hopefully by the end of the cycle, when you have all your guys, you can kind of better assess, okay, what is this guy's role really going to be?
Yeah, again, Blakeney, the other one, the shooting guard from Drexel, so he's the second guard that you've added so far. Again, leader in just about every statistical category for his team this past year. Again, come back home originally from Lexington. He did kind of think about going to the NBA. He's obviously decided to come here to South Carolina now. And, one thing that I like is that for a guy like him particularly is he's, again, probably the best player on his team, was somebody that was one of the better players in the conference. These are the kind of guys, even coming from mid-major levels, that do tick my interest a little bit because they were somebody that stood out on their team or in their conference or whatever. Will that translate over to him being great in the SEC? I don't know, but I do feel somewhat better about that than a guy that was just an average player for a mid-major team, like we saw so many of these guys coming in from the portal last year, being that type.
Yeah, and look, some of these mid-major guys can turn out to be pretty good, and we'll see if Blakeney, with his connections to South Carolina, obviously he's from Rock Hill, he went to Legion. We'll see. I mean, he put up some pretty good numbers. The good thing about him is that there was gradual improvement pretty clearly just based on his stats year after year. He only averaged 2 points his first year as a freshman, then it went up to 7.5, then he was a 14.2 points per game scorer. But also along the way, he got better as a shooter, to a point where last year he was shooting over 40% from the field and then, over 35% from three-point range. So about an average shooter right there. And again, he was averaging about 14.5 points per game. So again, there was growth there. And I think Lamont's got some good pieces in that backcourt now. You got Mincy, you got Blakeney, you got Marcus Johnson coming in, you got Grant Polk out there on the wing returning. You've got some nice pieces here in the backcourt, the guard position. Again, you're going to need more, but I kind of like what Blakeney could bring to the table for this team. Obviously, it was a tough loss not getting Brumbaugh as he ended up committing to SMU, but that's kind of the situation you're in. The reality is, yes, you can have more money, but the reality is South Carolina also has to deal with the fact of, yes, they have not been good the last 2 years. And if there's a program out there paying that guy equal amount of money or a little bit more, they're going to go to a school that might be just a little bit better in basketball right now.
Well, and you mentioned Roman Brumbaugh, who was at Tulane, that South Carolina had been in conversations with, committed to SMU last night. He would have checked that box of your primary point guard, and that's something that you're still chasing right now. I know Marcus Johnson is coming in as a freshman. Ideally, you'd probably not want to put that on a freshman to be your primary point guard. Now, again, you have a guy like Corey Mincy that can play the point if he needs to, but I think that's one box that still needs to be checked for this team as a guy that's just kind of a dude at the point guard position.
Yeah, I mean, you could maybe have a guy like Mincy out there, like you said, Tyler. It might be a lot to play Johnson right away. Wouldn't be the worst thing, but we've seen some freshmen have success under Lamont, but we've also seen some freshmen like Cam Scott, Eli Ellis go through some real struggles. So it's tough to say. Again, the roster still needs to be filled out, and hopefully they'll get that guy. But, I think a lot of people want that, like, Talon Cooper running the point, but how often are you going to find, like, a Talon Cooper in this day and age when it's so much about scoring, and you just don't get guys that are just floor generals that can facilitate the offense? I mean, maybe that guy's out there. I don't know. But right now, they probably still need to find that guy. I think you're right about that.
Well, it's kind of one of those things. The clock is ticking. We are now 2 weeks into the transfer portal being open, and a lot of those really, really good point guards have been snatched up. Now, there's probably some still out there that, because there's so many people in the portal that we're not as keenly aware of, and we'll keep an eye on who they're talking to and who's visiting and all that kind of stuff. But that is a glaring area of need that you just haven't been able to have comfortably these past 2 years. That's been a big difference in you and a lot of people's opinions, being successful, not being successful. So we'll see if they can ultimately check that box. Again, I've been fine for the most part with what they brought in. Still got a lot of spots left to fill considering all you lost from last year. But I'd say I'm fine with what they've done so far.
Yeah, there's been a lot of reaction online from the fan base that I think there's just been so much negativity out there, and I get it. I do. The seasons that they've had just have not been good at all. But I think we just got to see and wait how this roster looks before making really any final judgments, because at this point, they probably still have about maybe 7 spots at the roster at most to fill out. So that's about half the roster. And yeah, you're right. Time is ticking for sure. But I do like some of the additions they've made so far. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And, I think they got some guys in here so far, but obviously they need more here moving forward.
So where are some of these departing players going? We're learning the commitments of some of the guys that played for Carolina this past year. What does that say about what this past year's team was really like? We'll hit that coming up next. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Feltry on your Monday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
South Carolina head baseball coach Paul Maneri has been let go. Monty Lee is the interim coach, and possible candidates are already emerging.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. We're in week 11, and we're already talking about jobs. What a world we're in.
Keep it here on The Game as we follow every rumor. Girlfriend.
No fluff. No filler. That's good enough for me.
Your home of all Gamecocks gossip. 107.5 The Game and The Game Network.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The longest home postseason skid in NBA history just got longer. 8-seed Magic walked into Little Caesars Arena, dismantled the top-seeded Pistons 112-101. Paolo Banchero announced himself to the playoff world with 23 points and 9 boards. Despite a playoff career-high 39 from Cade Cunningham, Detroit looked rusty. I'm Drake Toll.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
Spring means warmer weather, blooming flowers, and a whole lot of pollen. Don't let your automobile turn into a pollen mobile. Stop by Tidal Wave Auto Spa for a top-of-the-line wash starting at just $15. In no time, you'll be driving away with that clean car happy feeling and a brilliant shine. Plus, every wash includes free vacuums, microfiber towels, and interior cleaning spray to keep your whole car looking its best. Tidal Wave Auto Spa makes it fast and easy. Find a location near you at TidalWaveAutoSpa.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a warehouse operations manager.
Where are the forklifts?
Sold them. Too expensive. We're using scooters now.
So you expect us to move a 2-ton pallet on a scooter?
Just lean into it. Put your back into it, people.
This is the time for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Drivers who switch their home and auto with Progressive could save money and time. Other things try to do this, but they really don't. Like the touchscreen at fast food places. It's not like you save time because it takes you longer to use a touchscreen than, I don't know, someone who works there. And another thing, you'd think it would save money because they're not paying a cashier, right? But no, same price. Also, why is there an option to tip? Who am I tipping? Exactly. Anyway, even if you can't save money and time with some things, you could with a Progressive home and auto bundle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
It's deck days at Lowe's, and the savings are stacked. Right now, pros get 15% off all in-stock composite decking from top brands like Trex, TimberTech, and Decorators. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. The deck's stacked in your favor with brands pros trust. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Extra point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri along with you here on your Monday on the Game. Talking Gamecock basketball, as again over the weekend they added 2 new transfer portal commitments to bring their total up to 4. Believe it or not, South Carolina is number 10 right now in On3's transfer portal ranking so far, as all 4 of the people that they've brought in have been ranked as 4 stars so far. So in the grand scheme of things, off to a pretty decent start when you look at rankings there. Again, it's got to materialize, and we'll see how these guys fare once they get on the court, once the late fall does roll around. Again, a lot more spots to be added. Still need to fill out that primary point guard role if you have the opportunity to, and obviously make up for what you lost in the transfer portal, which, quite frankly, Jack, was a lot. Now, as we're, again, 2 weeks into this transfer portal being open, we're starting to learn where some of these guys that did play for South Carolina are going to ultimately continue their respective college careers. And a couple of those guys we did learn of yesterday, one being, or over the weekend, Abu Yarma is going to be going and playing at Longwood. And then you have Eli Ellis, who, of course, is one of the most notable additions to the transfer portal, departures from transfer portal in South Carolina, is going to be going down, staying in state, and playing at the College of Charleston. Now, College of Charleston is a perfectly fine college basketball program that's made multiple tournament appearances, including just a couple years ago, and I believe Longwood themselves has been in the NCAA tournament too. But I think it is kind of an indictment on what this team was for Lamont Paris this past year, that these guys in mass that have jumped into the transfer portal that played for you are going to mid-major teams, right? And look, there's still a lot of guys from this past year's team that have yet to commit elsewhere. Elijah Strong, Jordan Butler, E.J. Walker, Krista Sandico, Cam Scott, and I'm sure they're visiting and talking with people and all that kind of stuff, but I think it's very glaring when that many guys from an SEC team jump in the transfer portal and some of them aren't kind of immediately snatched up by other Power 4 teams or aren't being talked about as some of the better prospects in the portal, right? I think that kind of shows you where things were, for the team this past year, Jack, and that, these guys that we talked about, and going in the portal from South Carolina, having to land at some of these mid-major schools. We'll see everybody else obviously ends up, finding their homes. But Abu Yarma and Eli Ellis so far both going to mid-majors.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, a lot of guys that still need to find homes. I think at this point you have, 5 guys left to go that need to find different schools. I saw Elijah Strong's receiving some interest from Charlotte and Kansas State and some of these other schools. But yeah, I mean, I think there's probably a reason why you're not seeing a ton of these guys commit so far, just because, look, the roster just was not good enough to compete consistently in the SEC, and we saw that on full display this past season.
Yeah, no doubt. And we'll obviously see, again, as we mentioned, where these guys ultimately end up as they continue to be recruited out of the portal. But as we look around here, and again, we're 2 weeks into this thing so far, most of the really big talent and most of the teams that, we kind of expect to compete at the top of college basketball have snatched up a lot of the big names. You mentioned there, was it Elijah Strong that you said was being talked about with Kansas State?
Yeah, Kansas State, Charlotte. I saw a report out there yesterday about it. So those are some of the schools. I know Charlotte for sure. I believe I saw Kansas State and a few other schools in that list.
But again, I think it kind of reinforces the point that we've talked about so much, that you just had a bunch of average guys playing on a team in the SEC. And when you have a bunch of average dudes, well, guess what? Your team is going to be average. In Carolina's case, unfortunately, it was below average, and the results obviously spoke for that. So and again, we're still early in the process. You've only got 4 spots filled so far, a lot more to go. I feel better about where they're at so far at this point in the portal process. Now, again, they didn't have as many spots to fill a year ago, but I think you're off to a better start, and you have guys that at least stand out a little bit more on paper when you look at the resumes and all that kind of stuff of what they did at the previous stops compared to, say, what you had last year that you brought in the portal, and I'm hoping that means that'll translate to better results this year.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to look at it. Things still need to play out. You still have a lot of spots to fill on the roster. And I know there's not going to be a lot of good faith in where this thing is at just because of how the results on the court have been. And obviously bringing Lamont back has come with a lot of criticism and scrutiny. But I will say, I like some of the guys they've brought in. But again, what does that really mean? I mean, I like some of the guys they brought in the last 2 years, and I'm sure they've had some decent portal pickups. I think Kobe Knox ended up being a pretty good pickup for South Carolina last year. But, again, it didn't equate to any success on the court. So I think it's really just a time will tell sort of thing. Sure, they could have a great portal class when it's all said and done, but it really does not mean much. These rankings and whatnot do not hold a ton of weight until you get to the season and see what this thing really looks like with your own eyes.
Yeah. So again, that's what they've got so far in the portal, and we'll see where some of these guys that are a part of it ultimately end up. But again, we're 2 weeks into this process, and a lot of those good spots are obviously getting snatched up, and we'll see how Carolina continues to fare as the portal does roll along. We'll bounce around some of the headlines that happened over the weekend coming up next to start hour number 2, including a national championship for a South Carolina team. We'll tell you about that on the other side. It is The Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri on your Monday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
It's all right here for our friends over at Twin Peaks. Oh boy, we are in the midst of so much great sports action going on right now. You've got professional basketball in their postseason. Same thing with hockey. Major League Baseball in full swing right now. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. When it comes to college baseball, there's only one place taking all that great action. That's with our friends over at Twin Peaks, located right down the street from us here in the Vista at 600 Gervais Street. Grab a bar stool, order yourself some delicious scratch-made food, and of course, do not forget about that 29-degree draft beer. And take in whatever sport is what you're into. You can take it all in with our friends over at Twin Peaks. Today, tomorrow, the weekend, whenever, Twin Peaks is your ultimate destination for all great sports action. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
The future stars of the PGA Tour are coming to Columbia. The Colonial Life Charity Classic is bringing championship golf to the Wood Creek Club May 14th through 17th. Be there to experience the intensity up close as tomorrow's champions battle it out on every hole. Bring the family and take in the tournament atmosphere, excitement, and a full week of entertainment built for all ages. Don't miss your chance to witness the journey to the top. The Colonial Life Charity Classic. Get your tickets now.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
If you have nagging arthritis pain that won't go away and nothing seems to help, you may need to consider joint replacement, and that can be a little unsettling. At Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, we understand and can help put your mind at ease. Our experienced orthopedic surgeons and advanced technology enable our team to deliver consistently excellent joint replacement outcomes with no hospital stay and lower cost to you. Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
If you're tired of dealing with gas, noise, and costly maintenance, it's probably time to switch to Steel battery power. Right now at Cato's Power Equipment, we have 65 Steel battery tools like the GTA 40 hand printer, the BGA 60 blower, and the KMA 135 Combi power head, each available with 2 free batteries for a limited time, giving you more runtime, less hassle, and up to $640 in instant savings. This deal is only available at Cato's Power Equipment, Columbia's home for the tools you need to maintain your turf. Visit CatosPowerEquipment.com.
Home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
Oh, yeah.
The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri along with you here on your Monday on the Game. Hour number 1, we obviously went over what happened with Gamecock baseball, and they're struggling at the plate this past weekend. 44 strikeouts in total against Mississippi State as they fall in all 3 games. Took yesterday's game to extras at least, but ultimately came out with no wins on the weekend, and now they dropped to 5-13 in conference play. Presbyterian, their next opponent, coming up tomorrow for the midweek, and then Kentucky coming into town later on this week as Carolina still tries to pursue that illustrious 7th win. That it was my goal that I set for them a couple weeks ago when Jack was out of town, that to try and at least be better than last year, right? Like 6-24 a year ago was the worst mark in the history of this program, at least as far as the SEC is concerned, and that's a year that unfortunately we're always going to remember as the only full year of Paul Mainieri. So my goal for this team shifted to trying to be better than it was a year ago, and you're only 2 wins away from that. I mean, you still got 12 games to go in SEC play, so you might still be able to eclipse that. But again, what you're playing for outside of that, not a whole lot, but there is some kind of goal you can at least hope to accomplish within this year. Again, if you're able to get 2 more wins, and I don't know, maybe that comes this upcoming weekend against Kentucky. We'll see. Presbyterian tomorrow night, which there's no guarantees. Again, Carolina struggled so much. Carolina struggled so much this year when it comes to these midweek games. That's also something that's just destroyed their resume. So even if they went on a decent run in conference play outside of, because again, technically speaking, if they ran their way through Hoover at the end of next month, that would punch them a ticket to the NCAA tournament. But when you look at how this team is built and the inconsistencies they have in all facets, now pitching's been the best part of this team, but even itself has had its ups and downs. I don't look at this team as one that can go out there and win, 5 games in 5 days? That just doesn't seem plausible. So, again, we're kind of waiting for the next step, waiting to see what's next for the future of this program. Is, again, when you fire a coach as early or mutually part ways, whatever you want to call it, with Paul Mainieri, when you do that so early in the season, now play the waiting game of seeing who the next head coach of this program is going to be, because unfortunately, sitting at 5-13 in conference play right now, I don't believe that is going to be Monty Lee. Again, he's going to try his best. He's making as whatever case he can for it, but I just don't think that is the result that's going to end up happening, and it'll be a fresh start with somebody brand new leading this baseball program coming up next year and the years going forward. Again, Presbyterian, the next game up tomorrow night, pregame coverage at 6:15 for a 6:30 first pitch right here on 107.5 The Game. Well, if you were looking for a Carolina sports team to get excited about, though, how about equestrian? You into equestrian? Well, in case you were not aware, South Carolina's pretty darn good at it. In fact, over the weekend, they won the Equestrian National Championship. Not just a national championship, their 4th national championship in the sport of equestrian in program history. So, Jack, are we safe to say that South Carolina might just be a horse school?
I would say so, yeah. With 4 national championships now, absolutely, for sure. And congrats to the equestrian team on a hard-fought win over the weekend. It was very impressive to see. And, yeah, I mean, it got a little dicey there when, their lead kind of went away there at the end. But, to get the win was very impressive. And, yeah, definitely I think South Carolina may not just be a women's basketball school. They may also be a horse school at this point.
I'm beginning to think South Carolina may just be a women's sports school in general as of right now. Again, what Dawn Staley and women's basketball have been doing for a long time now obviously speaks for itself. We know Ashley Chastain Woodard got off to a phenomenal start in year number 1. Been a tougher year number 2, but they did get the series win this past weekend against Missouri. And then for equestrian to go out there and win the national championship, I don't know. I think maybe women's sports are just what this program's the best at.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of validity to that right now with the way things are going. Wasn't always like this. There was a time, obviously, when men's sports were doing the heavy lifting here. But, yeah, it's good to see women's sports doing well. And, again, congrats to the equestrian team on a great season and great win this weekend.
Yeah, again, we'll take whatever we can in terms of success with South Carolina programs at this point in time. So, again, shout out to equestrian, and I don't know, maybe we have a horse dynasty on our hands at some point in the future. But congrats to them, and again, we'll take whatever winning we can get around here.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Well, if you were worried that the Big Ten was going to dominate in every single sport, rest assured that is not the case, at least not yet when it comes to gymnastics, because over the weekend, the NCAA Gymnastics Championships were held, and Oklahoma picks up yet another national championship. They beat LSU, Florida, and Minnesota, so the SEC had 3 of the 4 finalists, and they finished 1, 2, 3. So, Jack, while the Big Ten may be winning in college football, they may be winning in men's basketball and women's basketball for the time being, they still have not laid claim to gymnastics as of yet.
Yeah, and, here's the other thing. They also have not had that type of success in baseball, so there's that too. But, yeah, that's awesome to see the SEC dominating in gymnastics. I don't really follow gymnastics, obviously, but when you see, we all know about, the SEC and just how big gymnastics is here. It's kind of surprising that South Carolina doesn't have gymnastics, not that I know of, competing in the SEC. Maybe there was a time when they did, but yeah, to see the SEC doing its thing, it's not really surprising. But to beat the Big Ten, that's always good.
Yep. So, again, for the time being, at least South Carolina still laying claim to that sport. We'll obviously see what happens with softball and baseball and all that as the sports calendar year continues on. Over the weekend, we got the NBA playoffs off and rolling. We have to go back to Friday night, though, and Jack, you're not going to be here later on in the hour for your headline prediction, so let's talk about it now. You had the prediction that the Hornets were going to be able to beat the Magic and play their way into the proper NBA playoffs. Didn't happen, and quite frankly, they didn't even come close as they got obliterated by 31 points down in Miami to keep themselves out of being the 8th seed in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the Magic just boat raced them. I mean, that game wasn't even close. I saw the score at halftime, and I'm like, oh, yeah. In my head, I'm like, yeah, that headline is not going to be coming to fruition at all. That was, that was bad. But that was probably the most fitting way for this Hornets season to end because, again, they started off so terrible to begin the year, and then they caught fire and kind of just kept it going the entire way, and it's like, is this too good to be true? And, of course, by the end it is. But look, I think the Hornets have something going here. I think they have a bright future ahead. The thing that I mentioned on Friday, though, is that, look, your guys have to step up, like LaMelo Ball, Con Kneppel, like guys like that need to play well, and quite frankly, just didn't. I know LaMelo had, like 20-plus points, but he got off to a real rough start in that game by halftime. Real rocky start. Con didn't really do much. You kind of need those guys to show up, and when they don't, it becomes really tough to win, especially on the road. And, yeah, the Hornets season ends without making the playoffs, but still a good season for them, just falling just short. And, that game was not really close.
So that earned the Orlando Magic the 8th seed, which allowed them the opportunity to take on the 1 seed in the East in the Detroit Pistons. And lo and behold, they went into Detroit and picked up the Game 1 victory, 112-101. Detroit got off to very slow starts in the first and second half. The Magic were able to take advantage of that. And, Jack, on the weekend, through the 8 games played, the Magic the only one to not be the higher seed and win the matchup.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising because, Cade Cunningham had a good game, and, Paolo Banchero just kind of outdueled him a little bit. And, yeah, look, good win for the Magic. I think there might be something to be said about having those playing games. Like you said, the higher seed typically wins. So maybe there's not much to it, but I feel like there's a little bit of an advantage with playing with momentum, and we know what that can do in sports for sure. We see it in baseball and football, obviously, too. But I think there is something to be said about momentum, and the Magic definitely have it right now. Going into Detroit and stealing a game, that's massive. Mission accomplished already. And now, look, even if they lose Game 2 here coming up, they still head back to Orlando with the series tied at a game apiece. If they find a way to win another game out in Detroit and they're up 2-0 going back home, they really, really realistically have a chance to take this thing. But we'll see. Off to a good start.
Games number 2 tonight for the Hawks and Knicks, as well as the Raptors and Cavaliers and Timberwolves and Nuggets as the NBA playoffs continue on. And again, it's a long postseason, so buckle up because it's going to take a while to decide who the champion is. Within the state of South Carolina, though, off the heels of another phenomenal Masters tournament, we had the RBC Heritage out at Hilton Head this past weekend, and it comes down to a playoff with Matt Fitzpatrick and Scottie Scheffler.
For the victory. He's got a chance. Matt Fitzpatrick has won the RBC Heritage for a second time in a playoff.
Almost kind of like deja vu. You just heard Jim Nantz there mention at CBS over the weekend. Matt Fitzpatrick wins his second career RBC Heritage. Funny enough, also won his first one back in 2023 in a playoff with, at that point in time, Jordan Spieth. But for the second week in a row, Jack, Scottie Scheffler comes down the stretch hot, just coming up a little bit short in the Masters by 1 stroke to Rory McIlroy, and then losing the playoff yesterday to Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, tough one for Scottie. We were texting about this yesterday. It's just kind of crazy to see Scottie really has not had much success in terms of winning, tournaments this year. He won the American Express all the way back out in January, but really since then he's had a lot of close calls, a lot of top 2 finishes, and that's what we saw here, this weekend out at the RBC, where he has had success before. I mean, he does have a plaid jacket from previous years, but yeah, it's kind of surprising to see Scotty, and I think he's probably gotten over a little bit of this slow start to the weekend where he'll really have a rough day on Thursday, and then he'll pick it up by Saturday, make the cut enough to get back and standing by Sunday. But, he's always going to be one of the betting favorites, right? Like, with all the with 3 major championships left to go, like, it'll be him and Rory and guys like that right up there as the odds-on favorites to win those championships. But, yeah, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised that, Scotty really has not found that winning success yet. Like, he's still right in the mix, obviously, but the fact that he's not winning so consistently this year, it's a little bit surprising, I'd say.
Yeah, it's one of those things, though, as he continues to put himself in position, he'll break through and get more of those wins. Again, he's the number 1 golfer in the world for a reason, and you can't help but be impressed with what he did by closing the gap the way they did in the Masters last week. He was 3 shots back with 4 holes left to go on Sunday and birdied 15 and 16 to be able to force that playoff with Matt Fitzpatrick. So, yeah, he's somebody that is always going to be in contention. And give credit to Matt Fitzpatrick because he didn't really blink once he got into a situation where he was tied with Scotty Scheffler and had to go in the playoffs and was able to beat him there, as he's obviously having a lot of success, his 2nd win of the year as he won the Valspar back in March.
Yeah, definitely a good weekend for Fitzpatrick. Good to see him get another win at the RBC, and yeah, I mean that could be a big win for him moving forward. And I always love the RBC being right after the Masters. Like, I love the fact that we were talking about with Jay the other day when he was out there in Hilton Head about that they have the gnomes out there, and I think it's kind of funny and ironic that they have the plaid jacket that's worn right after the green jacket, obviously. But I feel like look, it's not a major. But it's definitely one of the the signature events of the year. Definitely a good one to go out there and win. And yeah, for Matt Fitzpatrick, that's 2 wins now this year. That could be a big one for him moving forward. We'll see.
A lot of big things happening out in the golf world, and we're just days away from one of the biggest events of the entire sports calendar year. That is the NFL Draft. Coming up on Thursday, one team making a really big move over the weekend. We'll dive into that coming up next as the Extra Point rolls along. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri on your Monday here on The Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Since that win at Clemson by the Gamecocks, things haven't gone well. And when things don't go well, it's time to look back on the days when things were well. Yeah, let's spin back to the good old days on the Game Network.
Line drive, right field, base hit. South Carolina wins the College World Series.
Sellers in the pocket. Up in the pocket, gonna run inside the 20, 10. Lenore Sellers going left side, 5. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown. Touchdown, Lenore Sellers. From 20 yards out, the Gamecocks take the lead at Death Valley.
Now that's some good feels right there. From 107.5 The Game and the Game Network. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Join Gamecock fans of all ages on Saturday, April 25th as you run, walk, or jog through Gamecock Park and the indoor and outdoor football practice fields for this year's Cocky Trot 5K and Fun Run and Walk. It's fun for the whole family, so don't miss out. Registration includes a commemorative race shirt and medal and access to purchase discounted football and baseball tickets. Register today at GamecocksOnline.com/CockyTrot. That's GamecocksOnline.com/CockyTrot.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Hey, it's Thomas. If you're curious about a career in media, marketing, or digital, this is for you. Cumulus Media Columbia is hosting a Careers in Media open house Thursday, April 23rd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at their studios on Gervais Street. You'll meet radio pros, learn about paid opportunities, drop off your resume, and even check out behind-the-scenes studios and podcasts. It's casual, free, and a great way to get your foot in the door. Email Jeannie.Jackson, that's JEANNIE.Jackson at cumulus.com to register, and I'll see you there.
Want to unlock the power of athlete marketing to grow your business? Garnet Trust has recently launched a business membership program, making it easier than ever for your business to work directly with a USC student athlete. Visit garnettrust.com today or call 803-250-1765 to see your business move.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
Oh, yeah. The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, we're back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head along with you here on your Monday on the Game. Jack had to bounce a little bit early, so we'll get him back in here coming up tomorrow. And tomorrow will be another day closer to the NFL Draft, which starts on Thursday. I believe they're out in Pittsburgh this year. Yeah, Pittsburgh this year, as they're taking the draft all around the country. And is it more or less exciting when you have the #1 overall pick well known throughout the entire offseason? Because we know Fernando Mendoza is going to be picked by the Raiders coming up on Thursday. Now, it's going to be funny, and this always happens. Even when you know who the #1 overall pick is going to be and what team's going to get them, they still use that full time allotment when they go on the clock to make that pick, when it's like, guys, we've known you're going to make this pick for 4 months now. Just get it done with, and let's keep the first round speeding along. But there's no mystery to what happens at the #1 overall pick with Fernando Mendoza going to Las Vegas. Then the debate becomes of, okay, do you start him right away? Do you sit behind Kirk Cousins? How do you manage that? And we'll obviously see what happens there. as Clint Kubiak takes over out there as their head coach. But so many interesting things and storylines going to be going on throughout this NFL draft, and we'll dive into plenty of them as this week goes along. But over the weekend, pretty notable headline in terms of a little bit of a shakeup in the draft as the New York Giants reach an agreement to trade Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals for the 10th overall pick. So that now means that the Giants have the 5th and 10th pick in the NFL draft coming up on Thursday. So they'll have an opportunity to do a big variety of things with those two spots there inside the top 10, as they need all they can get at so many different positions. As John Harbaugh, yes, in case you forgot, John Harbaugh is now the New York Giants head coach, takes over for his first year out there in East Rutherford, New Jersey. But this deal, let's kind of focus on this for a second. This deal is so interesting, and it's been known pretty publicly that Dexter Lawrence has not been thrilled being a New York Giant and watching the team struggle as much as they have. It's been noted as well and reported on even more over the weekend that he felt, envious, jealous, whatever word you want to use, of seeing former teammates like a Saquon Barkley go to Philadelphia and immediately find success and win a Super Bowl. And Dexter Lawrence is one of the best defensive linemen in the entire league, and he knows if he goes to the right situation, he can be a part of something like that and have that same type of success. So even when the Giants were trying to rework his deal in the offseason and satisfy him with some more money, but also still being team-friendly to a degree, Dexter Lawrence wasn't going to budge on that. He publicly stated that he wanted to trade, which that's a risky proposition when you publicly state that, because it's almost kind of like there's no turning back with the team that you're currently on. The Giants were able to find a trade partner with Cincinnati. A lot of teams apparently were in conversations with them, but Cincinnati offered the number 10 pick, and that's pretty darn hard to turn down if you're the New York Giants. I've seen it coming to an agreement, coming to a deal, so the Dexter Lawrence goes to the Cincinnati Bengals, and then the New York Giants get 2 top 10 picks. Talking about what this means for both teams. First of all, starting with the New York Giants, as I mentioned a moment ago, this is not a rebuild completely from the ground up, but they got a lot of areas of need to fill. Now, here's the thing. They seemingly have their quarterback in Jackson Dart. They have a great wide receiver, number 1, in Malik Neighbors. We'll see how Cam Scatterbo returns from his injury that he suffered from a season ago, but a lot of help needed on defense. And it's interesting when I'm looking here at some of the mock drafts over the weekend, including Mel Kiper. He notes, because again, their first pick is their traditional pick at number 5. He says they can go a lot of different ways with this. Now, in his most recent mock draft, he has them taking Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State, with the number 5 overall pick. But he also mentions I could see them going with the Sonny Styles, the linebacker from Ohio State, that could fill a need they have in the middle of that defense. He also says I could see them going out and getting somebody like a Carnell Tate. So it's almost kind of like Ohio State roulette a little bit here in the first round, or the 5th pick, according to Mel Kiper. As he mentioned, he could see them going out and finding Carnell Tate as a complement to Malik Neighbors. But again, they're going to have really kind of the pick of the litter when it comes to having that number 5 overall pick. As again, when you kind of look at what's projected to go ahead of them, we know Fernando Mendoza is going to be the number 1 overall pick. They don't really need a quarterback because they have Jackson Dart. Jeremiah Love's the projected number 4 pick. Again, they seem to have their running back that they like in Cam Scatterbo, assuming he comes back good to go and healthy from the injury and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to have a lot of options to pick from at that number 5 spot. And then right back after that, a few picks later, they'll have the number 10 spot. And right here, he has them picking up Francis Mayoga from Miami, the offensive tackle, as they need to shore up the O-line there in New York as well. But really, you can't ask for much more draft capital than that in the first round, outside of having like the number 1 pick and then another top 10 pick. Having 5 and 10 is going to allow John Harbaugh to get a lot of good pieces early in this draft, try and build this team back to being something respectable. Because here's the thing, he's not there for this like long haul, 5-year rebuild. He wants to turn them into a contender once again right away, and we'll see how they address that, what they ultimately do in the draft. And on the flip side of this, for Cincinnati, this is the exact type of move that they needed to make. Look, Joe Burrow's dealt with his share of injuries, but when he is healthy, he can still be one of the best quarterbacks in all of the NFL. we talk about this all the time. Every team has their window. Every team has a gap of, sometimes it's 3 to 5 years, sometimes it's 7 to 10 years, sometimes it's 1 to 2 years. We may have saw Detroit Lions, window close when they got bounced out of the playoffs a couple years ago. But the Bengals, who have played for a Super Bowl with Joe Burrow in his second year, the year that he was fully healthy, they still feel like they're well within their windows. They got T. Higgins, they got Jamar Chase, they got pieces on offense, but the defense was horrible last year. And bringing in a guy like Dexter Lawrence, in addition to some of the other offseason moves they've made, and they brought in several other guys on defense, like safety Brian Cook, as well as defensive tackle Jonathan Allen, who's going to be playing alongside Dexter Lawrence. Like, they're making the moves to try and win now. That's what the Rams did a couple years ago when they won the Super Bowl. It was truly all in win now mode, and that seems to be what Cincinnati is doing with making these moves. That, you're risking some things further down the road by giving up your top 10 pick in the draft, but if you're in win now mode and you can be hoisting a Lombardi trophy coming up less than a year from now, you'll say, hey, we'll figure that other stuff out later. But bringing in an elite talent like Dexter Lawrence to anchor the middle of that defensive line and try and shore up that side of the football to complement what is already a good offense in the NFL. And again, when Joe Burrow is healthy, can be one of the best guys throwing the football in the entire league. But to win, you have to be able to be efficient on both sides of the football, and the Bengals are doing that by going out there and getting somebody like this and trying to make themselves back into a contender once again. So obviously see what ends up happening there, but I think it's a win-win for both sides. Again, Cincinnati gets what they need to try and shift gears into being a contender once again right away, and then New York gets what they need to continue to build and get that program or get that organization back to being competitive in the mix for playoffs, which, again, John Harbaugh is a really good coach. What he did at Baltimore obviously speaks for itself, and I feel like he's going to potentially put the Giants in a better position than Brian Daboll did, and gets that started off with two picks there in the first 10 of Thursday's NFL draft. And again, we'll continue to talk about these storylines and things with the draft more as the week does go along. But we're going to bounce around college football coming up next, including one person that had a really bad day in Blacksburg, Virginia. We'll tell you about that coming up next. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri on your Monday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
If the Gamecocks hit a grand slam, you can win cash. It's the Crescent Construction Grand Slam Giveaway.
If the Gamecocks don't hit a grand slam, the pot goes up $25 a game.
Just go to 1075thegame.com to register.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code SAVE to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code SAVE to borrow up to $10,000. Use code SAVE to borrow up to $10,000.
If you need orthopedic or neurosurgical care, it's a big deal to you and to us. At Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, we offer easy access to seasoned physicians with the most extensive outpatient experience in the region. Whether it's joint replacement, a neck or back procedure, or injury care, you can trust us to provide customized treatment plans with easy access, great outcomes, and lower cost to you. Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Come see the entire line of GE appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Jeffers McGill offers the best customer service and lowest price on every GE make and model, including GE Profile, Monogram, and Cafe brands. Jeffers McGill and GE, your home team.
For appliances with reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Shepherd's Glass has provided commercial, residential, and auto glass installation, repair, and replacement to Columbia for over 50 years. Large retail storefronts, auto, custom shower enclosures, and mirrors for that remodeling or new construction project. Visit shepherdsglass.com to see and learn more. Now with 2 locations on Platte Springs Road in West Columbia and Chapin at 855 Chapin Road. shepherdsglass.com.
Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
At Average Amy's Coffee Corner, our coffee has caffeine, our muffins are cooked, and our services, well, we're here. Come on by for an average cup of joe.
Average doesn't build great businesses. Cumulus Digital does, outperforming industry benchmarks by more than 25%. We deliver smarter digital marketing to over 4,000 local businesses every month and drive real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Full Send Golf.
You guys know how much I really love golf, and I think every week would be dope to post on the Golf Channel. I want to get a lot of guests on here.
Salim's going to take lead. I'm down to be in it. It's not really work to play golf.
Join the party on the golf course.
I was like, let's go to the range. Oh. So what are we putting on it?
We said 10K, right?
10K?
All right. We probably bet more than all the other golf channels, right?
10K, 9 holes.
Those guys bet for like cookies.
I feel like I'm going to shank it.
This guy's been trading like a Navy SEAL when it comes to golf.
I'm very excited. You excited?
Yeah.
Full Send Golf. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
What team sprung a leak this weekend? Sponsored by American Leak Detection on the Extra Point.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head along with you here on your Monday on the Game. Going to take a look around college football as we get into who sprung a leak, brought to you by our friends over at American Leak Detection. And you may have seen the viral clip. If you have not already, I highly encourage seeking it out, because over the weekend out in Blacksburg, Virginia Tech had their spring game. And, well, as part of their spring game festivities, they had at least one, maybe there are multiple ones, but I know of one at least, a parachuter that was coming into the stadium, on right before the game started, with an American flag in tow, and it looked like it was a pretty windy day. And as he's making his descent, trying to land probably somewhere around midfield, it seemed like the wind was kind of pushing him back. He ends up stuck on the scoreboard out there at Lane Stadium. I'm looking at the video once again now, and he kind of got the wind blew him into the scoreboard, and then above the screen, Virginia Tech has in big, bolded letters, Virginia Tech, VT logo and all that kind of stuff. He got stuck on the C, so his parachute is hanging on. Okay, there were multiple parachuters, and I'm now seeing the video back again, and for some reason, his, I guess again, just kind of getting blown back by the wind, ends up, because the wind is very strong, it's blowing that American flag out straight. He's kept getting blown further and further towards the scoreboard. He hits it himself, which couldn't have felt good, and then kind of falls down, and then his parachute hangs on the sea, which that's a good thing. I didn't realize this until people were posting videos about it, pictures about it afterwards. So the Virginia Tech scoreboard, unlike South Carolina, where it kind of connects directly to a concourse right below it, or where the back of the stands are, it's a walkway underneath the Virginia Tech scoreboard that's a long way down from the base of the board to where the ground actually is. And I can only imagine if his parachute hadn't caught on the sea in Virginia Tech, he's falling well over 100+ feet. Maybe 200 feet. I don't know. I don't have a good gauge for how tall that is, but he would have fallen a long way down onto basically a parking lot or a sidewalk below, and that could have been really, really bad. And the fact that the scoreboard wasn't connected to the back of the stands also allowed basically the fire department to come in to be able to save the guy, get him off the scoreboard. Virginia Tech did put out a release that said that did not believe he had any major injuries. Probably scared the crap out of him, if nothing else. But yeah, that was a wild one over the weekend. And hopefully that's not an omen for the James Franklin era as he takes over as head coach out there after they fired Brent Pry, who, in case you've forgotten, is still the defensive coordinator. He was fired. They hired James Franklin, and then him and James are really good friends. James rehires him as the defensive coordinator, so that's an interesting dynamic we don't really see, and we'll see what happens out there in Blacksburg this year as, again, James Franklin still kind of got a raw end of the deal when it came to Penn State. I think he's a good coach, just not an elite coach, and we'll see what he can do in the ACC with Virginia Tech and if he can get them back to the respectability they had years and years ago, because it's been tough treading for the past decade plus. After Frank Beamer retires, Justin Fuente, that goes sideways. Brett Pry stuff didn't end up working out. We'll see how James Franklin does out there taking over for things out at Virginia Tech. As I mentioned a moment ago, we are only, by the way, in case you were wondering, the white squad earned a 30-21 victory in the spring game over the weekend for Virginia Tech. We'll talk more spring games from around the country coming up a little bit later on in the week as we kind of get a recap of what's been going on around the SEC and the country in terms of college football as we enter into the post-spring portion of the offseason. But as I mentioned a moment ago, we are just a couple of days away from the NFL draft, and one notable wide receiver prospect in Zachariah Branch of Georgia, formerly of Southern California, was arrested over the weekend out in Athens on charges of obstructing public sidewalks and streets, as well as prowling and obstruction of law enforcement officer. This happened in the early morning hours on Sunday. Tom Pelissero, NFL Insider, gave further context to this with the statement or the report from the police that he was apparently blocking a sidewalk. He was advised to move off the sidewalk. He basically refused to and was hit with those charges. The bond was only $39, which he did bond out at about 4 a.m. on Sunday morning, but definitely not something you want to have happen the week of the NFL draft. And when you look at Mel Kiper, ESPN's available players at different positions, Zachariah Branch is the number 7 overall receiver. You got Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper Jr., and Casey Concepcion all ahead of him. But, and I can account for this from watching him at Georgia this past year, that guy was a playmaker. You got the ball in his hands on a screen, he could get you some extra yards, and he's somebody that can definitely find a home in the NFL and in a variety of different offenses and stuff like that. But I do wonder how much this is going to hinder him with this happening the week of the draft. And we talk about this so much. His NFL teams, they're not dumb. They don't get paid a lot of money to be loose with the details. Now, some of them make some bad picks, but the organizations that are really good at what they do really comb over every fine detail when it comes to these guys that are going to be drafting. That's why you hear about these ridiculous questions that people get asked in Indianapolis at the scouting combine and all that kind of stuff, because these organizations are trying to get inside the head of these guys they draft. And they certainly don't want to take anybody that they feel like is going to be a risk or somebody that they can't rely on or anything like that. And to my knowledge, Zachariah Branch hadn't had any prior legal problems from his time at Southern California or in his time at Georgia. Maybe I'm omitting something in my mind that I'm forgetting about here, but all things considered, I believe his record was relatively clean, and we'll see if NFL teams look at this as an anomaly or something that they should be concerned about, and if that causes him to drop down in the draft coming up on Thursday, because again, he probably would have looked at as a mid-ish round pick, being the number 7 overall receiver, and we'll see, because again, you're talking money being affected and all those kind of things, and we'll see what kind of effect that does have on his draft stock, coming up later on this week. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, again, we already know what the what the number 1 pick in the draft is going to be with Fernando Mendoza, as we'll see where everything kind of shakes out after that, what trades are going to be made and all those kind of things as we get into the 2026 NFL season. And Mendoza, of course, is somebody that's going to be very hopefully fun to watch. when he gets to the league. Again, we'll see if they decide to start him right away or if they go the route now that they have Kirk Cousins they got from the Atlanta Falcons. If they decide to let him start, 5 or 6 games, something like that, before handing the reins over to Fernando Mendoza, I'll state my case again. I'm always in the camp of I believe it's probably in your best interest to allow your rookie quarterback, if you can, and I get it, not every organization has the comfortability and flexibility to do this because it depends on what you have on your roster. If you can allow that rookie quarterback to sit and learn for a little bit, I think that's beneficial to everybody. And we'll see if Las Vegas has that option and that opportunity when it comes to Fernando Mendoza once they draft him, coming up here in a couple days, and how they view things with Kirk Cousins and his injuries and all those kind of things. But yeah, NFL draft coming up on Thursday, and we'll wait to see where Brandon Cissay's name gets called, Jalen Kilgore, all those guys from South Carolina that are heading off to the next level. Cissay, the one with an opportunity to maybe crack his way into the first round. Again, depending on what projections you looked at, you can see him as a late first-round pick, early second-round pick. Who knows? We're going to be definitely waiting and anticipating to see where his name gets called coming up on Thursday. That's for sure. Again, we'll continue to talk about these headlines as the week does roll on, going up to Thursday and the NFL draft. But we'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 2 of the Extra Point. What were our future headlines over the weekend? Did we get them right? I can tell you I got mine right, and we'll recap that coming up next. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head along with you. Jack Veltri will be back in coming up tomorrow as your Monday rolls along here on The Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Go to 1075thegame.com and check out our sweet deals, like $50 worth of great eats from Grill Marks for just $25 and a 6-month membership to the YMCA for half price. It's all at 1075thegame.com.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have royally bungled this offseason. We don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to make his decision on whether he's playing or not before Thursday's NFL draft. And even if he does, this situation is absolutely ridiculous for a legacy franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers like 10 years ago in Green Bay. Who asked for this? I think this will be a disaster season for Pittsburgh and the Steelers. I'm Nick Costos.
The U.S. Treasury quietly released its official financial report for 2025. It appears by its own numbers the U.S. government seems insolvent. It's reported that the Treasury shows about $6 trillion in assets and over $47 trillion in liabilities. Add it all up, and it looks like the U.S. owes more than $130 trillion it doesn't have. If that were a family, they'd earn $52,000 a year, spend $73,000, and already be more than $1 million underwater. Any accountant would call that insolvent. So how does the government fix this? It can print money, which erodes your purchasing power, it can raise taxes, or it can cut benefits. And none of those can help to protect you. That's why many people who have something to lose move part of their savings into physical gold and silver, assets that can't be printed, defaulted on, or voted away. Call Monetary Gold at 877-NOW-GOLD for their complimentary gold and silver guide and a no-pressure conversation. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya, guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Oh, yeah. The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head wrapping up the hour here on your Monday on the Game. And as we do each Monday, we take a look back what our future headlines of the weekend were, and did we get them right? As Jack and I each make our predictions Friday at 10:45. And on Friday, Jack decided to go the NBA route, and he predicted that the Hornets would win their play-in game on Friday night and advance into the NBA playoffs properly as the number 8 seed, taking on the 1 seed in the East, the Detroit Pistons. Unfortunately, that prediction did not come true, as the Magic obliterated the Hornets 121-90 on Friday night to earn themselves the proper 8 seed and transfer into the official NBA playoffs, as being in the play-in does not officially count as being the playoffs for the Hornets, so they'll have to go back to the drawing board for next year. And then the Magic used that magic, pun intended, to roll into Detroit over the weekend, and maybe it was the fact that they played for a couple days and Detroit had a few days off, but they go in there and pick up the win against the Pistons 112-101 in a game that I don't believe they trailed in a single time. Detroit getting off to rough starts in the first and third quarters. The Magic able to take advantage of that with the 112-101 win, and they were the only lower seed, the only road team to pick up a win over the weekend in the opening contest, still the opening round, the opening contest of the NBA playoffs. But again, these are long series. There's a reason they're not one and dones. It's going to be multiple games, and we'll see how that continues to pan out for the Magic. But again, at least getting the shock win of the weekend by going into Detroit, picking up the victory. They have to wait all the way until Wednesday to play their next game. This is one thing that does bother me about the NBA playoffs, is the gap between games, right? And I get it. They're trying to rest, make sure these guys are as fresh as they can be and all that kind of stuff. But, like, you played a game on Sunday. Now you're waiting all the way until Wednesday night to play game number 2. That just, to me, kind of kills the momentum. They do this throughout the playoffs in every round, especially with the finals, too, because the finals take like 2.5 weeks to finish. I do wish the NBA would be a little bit more efficient in terms of gap between games, because, again, especially coming off of a big upset like that, I think people would have been very excited to see, like, tomorrow night, the Magic, if they could capitalize and get a second win and take a 2-0 series lead. But, again, instead you're having to wait for Wednesday night to see the second match of that first round. Tonight you got Hawks-Knicks for game number 2, Raptors and Cavaliers, and Timberwolves and Nuggets. So Jack's prediction of the Hornets winning the play-in game did not come true. My prediction of our boy Trick Williams winning the United States Championship did come true, though. Here's how it sounded.
Zane measuring his man across the ring. Trick shot! Trick shot! Come out of nowhere! Trick Williams wins the United States title!
Here is your winner, the new United States champion, Trick Williams!
The emotion exploding within Trick Williams.
The hometown guy, Columbia, South Carolina's own Matrick Belton, better known as Trick Williams, picks up the win in the United States Championship match with Sami Zayn last night at night number 2 of WrestleMania out in Las Vegas. His first ever main roster title. Again, you could hear the crowd at Allegiant Stadium doing whoop that trick and all that kind of stuff. For those that didn't watch, and Trick comes out, he dresses in all white. He's got the white pants, the white shoes, which he calls lemon pepper steppers, and the white fluffy jacket. And last night, because WrestleMania entrances are always big and elaborate and stuff like that, and I wondered, okay, what's he going to do to kind of make this entrance different than what he typically does. He had the, what do you call it? The when you have the thing behind the dress that's really long. Chris, help me out here. Do we have a name for that? There's a name for it. I keep forgetting. Anyway, his coat had an extension on it that was like 200 feet long and basically ran the length of the ramp. I imagine that thing was heavy, right? Because it's fur or whatever it is, a heavy material, and he's walking down the ramp. This thing just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. I did see somebody make a meme of it where it was a CVS receipt, because CVS has notoriously long receipts, and that's kind of what it looked like because it was solid white as he was going down the ring. And, he's able to, I guess there was an extension that he clipped off of it so he could get in the ring with his normal gear on and all that kind of stuff. But he definitely made a scene with that last night, picks up the win against Sami Zayn, and gets his first ever main roster title at WrestleMania 42. And this is just really a testament. And again, Wes and Chris have been covering this guy for many years, and his process of going from being a football player here at Carolina to being with the Eagles briefly, not making the team there, and then pursuing professional wrestling. This is a guy that's only been at it for a handful of years, signed his development deal with WWE back in early 2021, and has really only been in the wrestling game for less than a decade to make the ascension as quickly as he has, win a championship like this. That's pretty remarkable, right? And yes, it is something that is predetermined, and it's not the same as, pure traditional sport like football, but you still have to be really good at what you're doing to climb the card. You have to connect with the audience, and that's something that he does really well. And if you saw Wes's, tweet over the weekend from several years ago when he was still in the developmental stages of WWE, cutting a promo basically on the fly in the middle of their interview. He has that charisma, has that charm, can connect with the crowd, really good when it comes talking on the microphone, and it takes all that to be like a WWE superstar, somebody that they see as one of the faces of their business, and to have a title put on you means, for those that aren't wrestling fans, means they value you highly. They know that when they put you on a card or promote you for a show, people are going to show up because they want to see you, they want to hear you, they want to watch you wrestle. And again, I think that speaks volumes to what Trick Williams has done in a very short period of time in his wrestling career, and I'm intrigued to see how long this championship reign lasts. They're going to be coming to Columbia on May 15th for Friday Night SmackDown. As of now, he's still on SmackDown, so I would imagine he'll be a part of that show, and I can only imagine how big that homecoming is going to be once they come here, coming up in a little less than a month. But congratulations to him. Don't worry, we'll effort and try and get him on the show at some point. Getting in through WWE to get to some of these guys is difficult, but we'll do the best we can to maybe, hopefully, be able to talk to Trick Williams about everything that he's done up to this point in his career, obviously culminating with his championship victory last night. There's still many more to come. I think he's destined for a world title one day. We'll see if he obviously gets there, but really cool to see that last night at WrestleMania 42. We'll dive back in. We'll talk some Trick Williams in the next hour, but we'll talk some Gamecock baseball and get back into what's going on with the men's basketball transfer portal, too, as we get into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs on your Monday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Some days self-care starts with Nature Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm gonna have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Shh, here she comes.
Surprise! They sent a duplicate shipment to your flower shop! Now you have to pay for 1,000 extra carnations! Also, there's a beehive outside your store! And they're super aggressive! There's thousands of them!
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, the egg salad you just ate was expired! Gross!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Join Gamecock fans of all ages on Saturday, April 25th as you run, walk, or jog through Gamecock Park and the indoor and outdoor football practice fields for this year's Cocky Trot 5K and Fun Run and Walk. It's fun for the whole family, so don't miss out. Registration includes a commemorative race shirt and medal and access to purchase discounted football and baseball tickets. Register today at GamecocksOnline.com/CockyTrot. That's GamecocksOnline.com/CockyTrot.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
If you have nagging arthritis pain that won't go away and nothing seems to help, you may need to consider joint replacement, and that can be a little unsettling. At Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, we understand and can help put your mind at ease. Our experienced orthopedic surgeons and advanced technology enable our team to deliver consistently excellent joint replacement outcomes with no hospital stay and lower costs to you. Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery.
Are you considering a new roof or repairs but unsure where to start? Crescent Construction offers free roofing estimates to help you make informed decisions with ease. Our expert team is ready to assess your needs and provide comprehensive insights. Visit our website, crescentcarolina.com, to learn more about our services and schedule your free estimate today. Trust us to guide you through the process with professionalism and care. Don't wait. Contact us today at crescentcarolina.com.
The cost of higher ed seems higher than ever. So for most, there's a difference between what scholarships cover and what school really costs. Fortunately, South Carolina Student Loan has been helping students and families close that price tag gap for 50 years. We're here for you to help cover tuition, books, meals, housing, and other educational expenses. Plus, because we're a not-for-profit, we're able to offer competitive rates and flexible options. So get the money you need for school today at scstudentloan.org.
Feeling lucky?
Bingo!
After that long, cold winter, your yard probably isn't. Faded pine straw and washed out mulch? Well, spring is here, and it's time to freshen things up. At Lucky's Pine Straw, we're your local team for full-service pine straw and mulch, trusted by your neighbors and done right. Our spring schedule's filling up fast, so give us a call at 803-360-4850. That's Lucky's Pine Straw, Luckies, where your yard gets lucky.
Home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Tyler Head, along with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
$11 o'clock on your Monday morning. Welcome in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler, West, and Chris along with you here on the game. We're not wasting any time today. Jump right into it. As I just mentioned in the last hour, Trick Williams is officially a champion on the main roster in World Wrestling Entertainment, winning the United States Championship last night at WrestleMania 42. And all of Allegiant Stadium was indeed whooping that Trick for his entrance and after he won the title.
Tyler, give us former huge, I was obsessed.
Okay.
Right. Until about middle school, then I kind of got out. Okay. Nowadays, I can't tell you much of what's going on, although I followed along with what Trick has going on. So, the current United States Championship, is that kind of a rebirth of what used to be the U.S. title, which was in WCW?
Correct, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it originally came from.
Okay. So it's kind of it's basically the same. So he's now in the line of U.S. champion. Like, it's not a different one. It's called the U.S. Championship. They kind of reinstated it.
Right. So
it's got a long history, actually.
It does. Going back to WCW, then when the merger or WWE bought out WCW, it became a part of their title structure. It is essentially a mid-card title, right? So you have your World Heavyweight and WWE Championships, which are the two main event titles, and then you have United States and Intercontinental, which are your B-level mid-tier titles. So, again, for somebody like him that's only been on the main roster for less than a year, perfect title for him to have. We'll see if he elevates it. And what you do with something like this can determine if you get a shot at being a world champion one day down the line, essentially.
Yeah, I was going to ask if they still have the Intercontinental, so they do.
They do, yes.
I don't want to get us off the rails here. It bothers me that they have the World Heavyweight title and the WWE title, right?
Yep.
That's weird to me. Like, I feel like there should be one big belt for everybody to chase. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was a kid, there was a WWF title.
Yep.
And I guess it was the WWF World Heavyweight Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that. It was not split.
They did have the Intercontinental.
Yeah, they had all the belts. They had the hardcore title, which was
that came
awesome.
in a little later. Yeah, that was awesome.
But yeah, they had the other belts, but they were all under the one belt that was to.
That's right.
Like that was the peak. Why are there two peak titles?
Also, didn't matter if you were a heavyweight or not.
Yeah,
you could be any weight.
The heavyweight,
you could be Rey Mysterio.
The heavyweight's just a name to tack on to it. It really boils down because they have two shows during the week.
Yeah.
And you have one champion on each show. Now, they've done the one title thing for a while, but it honestly kind of works better when you have a champion on each show.
Trivia question.
Sure.
For Tyler. Wes, you can jump in if you want, but I feel this, mainly for Tyler. So let's, United States Championship trivia for you.
Okay.
Dean Malenko.
Sure. Yeah, I think he had it at one point.
The man of 1,000 holds.
Who was the first the inaugural United States champion?
Do you have a year?
In WCW?
No, I think the first one was in NWA.
Oh, God. We don't have a year?
I could probably find it for you. It was in 1975.
Okay.
Ric Flair.
I'm just going to take a shot at Harley Race.
Harley Race is correct.
Oh,
good job. Now, Wes, you mentioned a guy who has had the most reigns is Ric Flair, 6. All right, and then let's give you let's do 2 more.
Okay.
Longest reigning champion, which was from 1989 to 1990. Longest reigning United States champion. Pretty familiar name from the WCW times.
Sting?
No. Good guess.
1989 to 1990.
May to October. So 523 days.
It's a long title reign.
It is.
I don't know. What do you got?
Lex Luger.
The torture rack.
And then what's it good? All right. Shortest title reign.
Disco Inferno.
Good guess.
What year?
Disco Inferno. I don't know. I don't have the year for you.
I have so much meaningless knowledge
WCW era.
Of a specific era of wrestling.
I don't know. Juventud Guerrera.
5 minutes long. Stunning Steve Austin. How about that?
Wow, when he had hair.
Yep. Stunning Steve also had the thing I remember about him from WCW is, first of all, he had the tag team.
Yeah, the Hollywood Blondes. With Brian Pillman.
With Brian Pillman. Stunning Steve is also a big TV title guy. Like every time you would turn on the TV, he would be wrestling for the TV title, which was it was always a funny title name to me.
Yeah,
the World Television title. What?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and then he shaved his head, started drinking beer, and became Stone Cold. Well,
Insane.
He was drinking beer, but he started drinking it on TV.
On TV.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
God, talk about taking a guy who was not nothing, but nowhere near what he ended up being with WWE.
It's so funny to go back and watch.
Hey.
I was watching an old Clash of the Champions randomly on YouTube and Stunning Steve, and you're just like, I cannot believe this guy turned into
because that was
global icon of.
So Stone Cold Steve Austin is himself. like just turned up to 11. Which, like, that's what they say. The best character is yourself just turned up to 11. And it's funny, as we round this back to Trick Williams, when I watched the clip that Wes put out last night of when he had him on GC all those years ago and he cut the promo on the spot, you could see the foundation of what his character is in the things that he was saying there. It hadn't been molded into what we would now know as Trick Williams, but all those elements were there, just kind of got refined over his years of development. And obviously, you know, the wrestling in the ring matters a lot, but the character is a big thing. The fans love him. Again, the theme song is catchy, and all that culminates into a really good character that finally got to win a title last night, which was cool.
Yeah, it was very cool, man. He's climbed the ladder pretty quickly too. So happy for him, man. I'm still hopeful. I'm assuming he's going to be on the card when they come here.
Yeah, as long as he's on SmackDown.
That's coming up soon, right, Tyler?
May 15th.
May 15th. Tyler's got it on his calendar.
We'll try and effort as best we can to see if we can land him.
Yeah.
We know going through WWE is a little tricky. Got to jump through a lot of hoops.
We're going to be able to do
what
it.
we can.
Yeah, we're going to be able to do a giveaway maybe for that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll see.
So. You already got your tickets,
I got
Tyler?
my tickets. I'm going. I'll be there.
Tyler, you know that.
Yeah. The day that I got the email that they were on sale, you know I'm on top of that. But yeah, really cool last night. And again, local connection here. I wonder if Spurrier was watching. Spurrier aware of what he's doing? Has anybody brought this up to him? I'm sure.
I don't know. It is Spurrier's birthday.
Happy birthday. 81st birthday.
Wow.
420 is Steve Spurrier's birthday. Can't forget that.
Make of that what you will.
81 years young.
You do the years young thing?
I'm a dad now.
True. Well, and Spurrier does still have, man, he's still sharp.
He is. Because I pull a lot of his stuff. He's on that another duly noted podcast like every week down in Gainesville. It's Florida based, but every week there's some kind of article on 3 about something witty or clever that he said or a story he's told or whatever. So he's still got it, man. Like Spurrier's still that guy.
I think he always will be.
He will. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's asked him if he's seen. I feel like he's probably blissfully unaware.
Yeah, well,
if I had to guess.
Let's think about this. From his entire head coaching career, how many players has he had? It's thousands, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
God.
But
yeah.
like,
I mean,
you know, he's not going to have the ability to remember every single one. So I wonder if he even remembered at that point in time Matrix Belton.
That would be an interesting question. Now, Spurrier, that guy, it's probably a different answer for Spurrier than honestly most coaches. Like, you're talking about somebody who can tell you, going back to his playing days, like who all, you know, what the other 10 guys on the field were on a particular play, what the play call was. Like, just has an insane, that was always his thing, the insane recall. So maybe for him, most coaches, you are probably talking about, you know, not necessarily remembering every walk-on that ever played for him.
I wonder. I would not be. I don't know. I would not be shocked if he got asked and was like, "Yeah, you know, I remember he had 4 catches down there in Athens in 2015. Yep, we couldn't stop him. That was the Grayson Lambert game.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, Belton had his career highs. He had 4 catches in that game. So, you know, not a good game for the Gamecocks. Decent game for him. I would not be surprised. But I think he would quickly turn it to, yep, couldn't stop the slant that game. He'd have some anecdotes for that, I think.
That sounds about on brand. He strikes me as a guy that would be an old school wrestling fan, though. Spurrier, like, you know.
Harley Race era.
Yeah, maybe like Bruno Sammartino, Vern Gagne, like real old school.
Mr. Wrestling, too.
Yeah, all that. The Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, those guys.
God, it's
like
going way back.
That might be more
a
his
historian
time.
over here. All right, I think we've reached our wrestling limit for the Gamecocks.
I know, everybody's like,
Yeah, there it is. But congratulations, Trick Williams, United States champion. And again, hopefully we'll see him coming up here in a couple weeks in Columbia. We'll dive into some not-so-fun things from the weekend, including Gamecock baseball on the other side. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs here on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
All right, everyone, let's tell you about our friends over at Integrated Media. Michael, Nathan, their team can make all of your tech dreams come true at your home or at your business. Tell you about the business options real quick. Basically anything you want, but one thing they've been doing a great job with recently is conference room solutions. So, as you know, you've got hybrid meetings, you've got Google Meets, Zooms, whatever. You got people in the office, out of the office. They can take care of your conference room meeting needs and conference room solutions for you to make sure your technology is working great and super easy to use at your home. Complete smart home solutions. Control your lights, devices, thermostats, and security and cameras from the touch of a button. You don't have to go elsewhere for the equipment. Integrated Media, Michael, Nathan, they can source the equipment for you and professionally install it. Wes and I both trusted them to come out to our homes. Let them come out to yours. IntegratedMediaInc.com or 803-948-8327.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Joe Standifer, Esquire, 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Burroughs Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
Hey, it's Cassidy. If you are serious about a career in media, marketing, or digital, this is for you. Cumulus Media Columbia is hosting a Careers in Media open house Thursday, April 23rd from 11 to 1 at our studios at 1301 Gervais Street. You'll meet radio pros, learn about paid opportunities, drop off your resume, and even check out behind-the-scenes studios and podcasts. It's casual, it's free, it's a great way to get your foot in the door, and I'll see you there.
Email Jeannie.Jackson, that's JEANNIE.Jackson@Cumulus.com to register.
Need a roof? Trust Crescent Construction. With over 20,000 roofs installed and counting, they've got the experience you need. They specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, and general contracting. Visit CrescentCarolina.com today for free estimates and free inspections. That's right, no cost, no commitment. Crescent Construction, quality you can count on. For all your roofing and construction needs, visit CrescentCarolina.com now.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Tyler Head, along with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler West, Chris, along with you here on your Monday on the Game. Unfortunately, the weekend did not go the way we had hoped for Gamecock baseballs. They were riding a 4-game winning streak heading into the weekend, taking on a Mississippi State team that had lost their past 6 SEC contests between the Georgia and Tennessee series, respectively. We were hoping that was something that's going to play in the favor of South Carolina. Unfortunately, it did not, as they end up dropping all 3 games of the weekend. Did take yesterday's game into extra innings before falling in the 11th. And this is going to be a clip from Saturday, but Monty Lee very hard on himself when it came to how he felt he prepared his team for this past weekend.
Yeah, just really, really disappointing. I just told the team, obviously, I just did a poor job as a coach of preparing them for today's game. We didn't execute very well on the mound. We certainly didn't execute offensively very well today. Defensively, I thought we played a pretty good baseball game. That was the one positive thing that we did today. But, look, we didn't execute. We didn't look like we were prepared to play. That falls on me. And, we got to be much better than we were today. And see if we can get them ready to go tomorrow.
And again, that's from Saturday's game where they lost 9-0, struck out 18 times, which was a season high there. The other 2 games, 5-3 on Friday night, and then 4-3 yesterday in 11 innings. Much more competitive, but at the end of the day, wins are what matter the most. You didn't get any of them, and now you dropped to 5-13 in conference play.
Yeah, you just first of all, like statistically, completely erase any advantage you got from sweeping Missouri last week. So, not that 5-10 is what you were looking for, but you were at the halfway point of SEC play, and you were going, hey, you at least salvaged something. And you get these guys at home. Mississippi State's coming in having lost 6 SEC games in a row. You kind of got the feel, okay, is this going to be one of those situations where they come in and they are like hyper-focused, they being Mississippi State, and it maybe compels them to play a little bit better, or are they starting to maybe doubt themselves? Are they really in a skid now? And, I thought Mississippi State, honestly, just played a really good weekend of baseball. It's a talented team. I think it was, unfortunately, yet another example, like, not that Mississippi State is a top 5 team in the country, but you look at their middle-of-the-order hitters, like what they can do. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 carbon copy guys that are just true SEC, middle-of-the-lineup hitters, great numbers. And then you look at what their top pitchers are able to do to you, man. The ability to get strikeouts, which is the name of the game in today's baseball. Can you hit home runs? Can you strike guys out on the mound? That team has it. And, I think their 6-game losing streak was much more a little bit about just the SEC and the competition you're playing than it really was about them. They, for the most part, did the little things right. And, man, I just think this shows us what you're going to have to be as a team, talent-wise, to get back to where you're competing in the SEC. I was an impressive team to me. I went to the game in person yesterday. Carolina competed. Don't get me wrong. They got blown out on Saturday, obviously, but they competed yesterday. Still just too many little kind of mental errors that are going to cost you. Even when you tied it up in the 8th, there was probably an opportunity there with better base running to put yourself in a position to go up. Now, I also saw the take, like, if they had had better base running, they definitely would have gone up because you scored on a pass ball. You don't necessarily know, or you moved up on a pass ball when you would have scored. And you don't necessarily know how the rest of that inning plays out. For those who didn't see it, South Carolina, talk about a microcosm of this season. You get an outstanding at-bat from Lee Croy with the game essentially on the line in the 8th inning. He hammers it. Everybody in the park thinks it's gone. The wind is blowing in all day. It hits like less than a foot above, or less than a foot below being gone. And your runner at first base has retreated back to tag up, I guess because he thinks that the person is camped and there may be a situation where you have to tag up. Instead, the ball hits the top of the wall, a run scores, but LeCroy has to hold up at first, and you have first and second instead of second and third, which is what you should have had. Then you have a pass ball or wild pitch, and both runners move up. Well, in theory, you say, well, a run would have scored, prior to that. You don't know if every pitch sequence, if everything after that would have played out the same way it did. It probably wouldn't have. But still, just another example of when you're in these close ball games, especially against good teams, those little things often are the difference between winning and losing. And you were able to push across a couple runs, so credit to that, getting, late game run scoring situations done. But, man, you put so much pressure on Mississippi State if you could have gone ahead and taken the lead there with just 3 outs to get in the game.
Yeah, and that is the difference. You don't have much of a margin for error. And we see that all across. There's been a lot of conversation this year. It's not unique to this year, but I feel like it's even more so than normal in the SEC this year. It's a gauntlet. I mean, we're seeing, Mississippi State comes in here just having lost a couple series in a row. LSU's on a 6-game SEC skid. We've seen several of the blue bloods in this league that have typically been really, really good have some scuffles, frankly, this year. And everybody's kind of beating up on each other. And I think that's one reason for South Carolina after the Missouri sweep, not that you're going, oh, they've turned the corner, but it gave you an opportunity to, hey, let's go see what happens. If you can go take a series versus Mississippi State, then you're staring down. Look at the rest of the teams they play. I think everybody they play going forward is like 500 in league play or worse, just because it is such a gauntlet. Mm-hmm. But you didn't take advantage of that opportunity. And now you're sitting, maybe we're at the point now, and some people are already there or had been there even after sweeping Missouri, where you're going, postseason's totally off the table. If you have any threat of that, it's hanging on for dear life. You would have to go, what do y'all think? You'd have, 9-3, 10-2 at this point to get to 14 because your out of conference is so bad.
Yeah.
You're looking at having to dang near sweep conference play, and that looks tough, even though, you know what I'm saying, even though the opportunity seems to kind of be there because everybody seems pretty close in the SEC this year on the field. The fact that you couldn't even salvage a game or you couldn't go out and really take advantage of what you did the previous weekend by winning this series, and you had a couple opportunities. A couple of those games, you were there. You had opportunities. It's just unfortunate. And I feel bad, too, for, the pitching. Saturday notwithstanding, but the pitching has given you an opportunity for a lot of the year, and you just haven't been able to scratch across enough offense. And this weekend we saw that too.
It feels like the same conversation we were having last football season where, hey, defense is doing their job. They're keeping you in these games, giving you a chance, certainly in the late innings, and more often than not, you're not getting the job done. Monty Lee talked about a lot last week, and we talked about this with Kate on Friday about winning those last 9 outs, the final 3 innings of the game. If you win those, then a lot of times you end up winning the game. That didn't happen this past weekend. Again, you had opportunities there in the 8th inning, and it didn't come to fruition the way you needed it to, and you end up losing the game in 11. And Monty Lee talked about it after the game yesterday as well. I won't play it on Saturday as well. I won't play it because it's a little bit of a longer cut, but he talked about maybe I'm overcoaching them. And it gets to the point in a season like this where so much has changed, so many ups and downs, coaching changes, guys in and out of the lineup, where you might be pressing a little bit too much. You might be trying too hard, and that causes you sometimes to play worse. I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening here, but, there might be a sense of panic in this team trying to capitalize on what little semblance of momentum they had, not able to get it done this past weekend.
Yeah, I think, honestly, everything is on the table at this point. Like, why hasn't it worked out? If you're Monty Lee and you're in the position you're in, you're kind of in that, hey, we're going to try anything and everything. Do you I think if you don't sort of quote overcoach and you just kind of be like, we're gonna let things happen, then you fall on that thing of like, well, let's say you do something as a player that you should have known the situation and you didn't do the right thing. Then as a coach, you're saying, well, I should have said something. I should have overcoached a little bit. I think you're always walking that line between giving the guys something to think about and trying to just let them go play free and play fast and react, right? You know, I think in baseball, though, like whenever you do something where you make a mental error, you're always kind of going, well, should I have given a reminder before that? Should I have coached that up a little bit for seeing what might happen here? And, you know, I think at the end of the day, guys, I mean, there's really only so much you can do. Like, we have kind of reached that point, unfortunately, and Tyler, we've talked about it for multiple seasons across sports. You've reached that point where you're like, is this team what they are? And that doesn't mean if you're on the team, if you're in the locker room, it doesn't mean you just quit and give up. You have to keep competing, you know, even just for pride. But I don't think at this point anybody is like expecting this team just to go on some miracle run right now. If you had taken 2 of 3 this week and you were sitting there going, hey, guys, all of a sudden we got a little bit of momentum, maybe we're having a different conversation. The rest of the schedule, you know, for the most part, isn't quite as daunting as a lot of the schedule has been so far. So maybe you're kind of building off of that momentum. Maybe it's a little different world. But just anytime you get swept at home, you know, that's just that's a killer even if you're having a good year. It almost just kind of puts the season in the dirt with where things were going into it.
They'll be back in action tomorrow night, taking on Presbyterian over at Founders Park, and then Kentucky comes into town this upcoming weekend. And first game on Friday night, 7 o'clock over at Founders Park. I do have 2 family 4-packs to give away right now to callers number 4 and 5 at 803-404-6100. Go see the Gamecocks take on the Wildcats Friday night over at Founders Park. We'll get into what happened with men's basketball and more portal commitments over the weekend as the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs, rolls along on your Monday on The Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Since that win at Clemson by the Gamecocks, things haven't gone well. And when things don't go well, it's time to look back on the days when things were well. Yeah, let's spin back to the good old days on the Game Network.
The Gamecocks are making history in Cleveland. They'll be the 10th team, the 5th program to go undefeated and win the national championship. They will avenge their loss to Iowa from last year. The clock ticks down. 2 seconds to play. Celebration in Cleveland. Perfection wears garnet and black. Get him over.
Gamecocks are in the Final Four.
Now that's some good feels right there. From 107.5 The Game and the Game Network.
Hey, that was our exit. We're going to miss the first pitch.
Just got to make a stop at Kroger. I promised I'd bring nachos.
Nice. You have the Upside app too, right?
Upside? What's that?
Upside is a free app that gets you cash back when you buy groceries. And they just added Kroger stores in Columbia.
Wait, I can get money back just for buying groceries?
Yep. And right now, you can get an extra $10 bonus on your first Kroger trip with the app. That's up to $25 cash back on one grocery run.
Even this Kroger store right here?
Yes. Now pull over. Let's get some cash back on those nachos.
Upside is now available for Kroger stores in the Columbia area. Download the free Upside app and use promo code FAM3 to get a $10 bonus on your first purchase at Kroger. That's promo code FAM3. Remember, use promo code FAM3.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Join the Lexington Health Foundation for the McDaniels Golf Classic, returning Friday, April 24th at beautiful Fort Jackson Golf Club. Enjoy an all-inclusive day of golf with all meals provided, beer carts, hospitality tents, games, prizes, and more. Presented by McDaniels Auto Group. Proceeds benefit the McDaniels Pucci Cancer Fund to support patients and families at Lexington Health Cancer Center from diagnosis to survivorship. dealership. Golf teams and sponsorships are available at McDanielsGolfClassic.com.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. The spring is here. Dust, pollen, spring cleaning, all those important things. But have you even thought about the air quality inside your home? How are those air ducts holding up? Well, AAA Heating and Air is ready to help you. Visit them on the website. Call AAAtoday.com. Again, that's call AAAtoday.com. Call AAA Heating and Air and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Want to unlock the power of athlete marketing to grow your business? Garnet Trust has recently launched a business membership program, making it easier than ever for your business to work directly with a USC student athlete. Visit garnettrust.com today or call 803-250-1765 to see your business boom.
The cost of grad school keeps climbing, and for many, scholarships and stipends don't cover everything. That's where we come in. South Carolina Student Loan has been helping grad students bridge the gap between tuition and reality for years. Whether it's covering classes, books, housing, or other educational expenses, we're here to help. And since we're a not-for-profit, we offer competitive rates to make funding grad school easier. Get the support you need for grad school today at scstudentloan.org.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
We've been blessed to serve the Midlands glass needs for 20 years.
We have been fortunate enough to help thousands of customers with the best glass service in town, in our store, and all over the Midlands.
Sure, we can fix your windshield, usually at no cost to you.
But at Absolute Glass, we can also care for all your other glass needs, too.
Home windows, shower doors, tabletops, shelving, storefronts, and all your commercial needs.
Contact us at 803-951-7200 or at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Tyler Head, along with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler West Chris along with you here on your Monday on the Game. While things didn't go well for the baseball team on the diamond, we'd get some more positive news when it came to men's basketball, as their transfer portal class has now doubled in size, had 2 commitments going into the weekend and came out of the weekend with 2 more. Now, Wes, you are our resident pronunciation expert here, so I will let you tell us how we're supposed to say our new Wisconsin transfer's name.
Oh, man. You're putting me entirely on the spot, Tyler. I did not do my homework on this one yet.
Counting on you.
I know. As I buy myself some time, I did buy on the buy or sell for this.
You did. We'll give the official buy or sell recap at the end of the hour, but one of the questions was at least 2 commits by showtime today, and well, we got 2 commits, and we may have had a third, and since I've last checked GC, I don't know, but we at least got the bare minimum for the question.
Yeah, I did listen to one of the Wisconsin guys' little breakdown, and I want to say it's actually exactly how it's spelled. Alexis Blaskus.
Sure.
I think it is that is close. There may be some nuance to it, but that is how the guy, like, I always go and look on YouTube at highlights and breakdowns and stuff like that when guys are either committed or about to commit. And, yeah, I think that's right. But he is actually South Carolina's highest rated portal commit at this time. number 70 in the country and number 21 at his position.
We need to just start doing that thing when we'll just turn the mic to the computer and have it do the pronunciation guide. That's like on the, and then Tyler, you can record it, and then we'll just hotkey it.
So anytime we have to say his name, we'll
Alexa, yeah.
That's actually pretty smart.
Although they do not have one on the Wisconsin website, which is weird.
You would think with how many like international players they've had come through that are guys with complicated names, especially in basketball, because it's a worldwide sport, so you get guys from all over. Like having that little ear icon where you can listen to it is very helpful.
It is indeed.
Yeah, I don't. And sometimes you'll see they'll be like Lee Smith, and they'll have a pronunciation guide, but then not this.
I think I got that one.
So here's what Google says. I don't know where they're pulling it from. The Google AI overview. Alexis Bielauxis.
Sure.
Auskus. Sorry.
I hope he has a good nickname like Mongolian Mike that we can just stick with
Alexis.
That.
We'll just stick with that.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any other Alexises on the team.
But
I feel pretty confident in that.
An interesting player, though. A big that can shoot. Seems on the surface to be a good fit. So we'll see.
Yeah, 4.9 points per game this past year, 4.4 rebounds, which if he played for Carolina, that would have made him second in rebounds behind only Mongolian Mike. 43% from the field, just a tick under 35% from beyond three, as you mentioned, good from out there. So again, a guy, he's got size, 6'10", played in the Big Ten, which is obviously a tough league, and can do a variety of things for you on offense and defense.
I actually think this is probably going to end up being a pretty good pickup. I know people just look at those numbers. You got to remember, this kid was a freshman. Like, this is not one of those situations where you're talking about somebody who kind of is what they are as a player. It's not a third or fourth year player. Played, a decent amount very early in his career. Had some production. I think it's someone that they weren't really all that happy to lose, it sounds like. So I think this is probably maybe one of their better, like more high upside pickups so far in terms of the transfer portal for South Carolina. Is a good fit for Lamont Paris's system and what he wants to be, what he wants to do. I'll be curious to see, depending on the rest of their pickups, he's listed as kind of a 4, but does he play a 4? Does he kind of play more of a 5 role? What does that actually look like for South Carolina? In college ball, it's just not as cut and dry as maybe it used to be back in the day. I know everybody has been looking for those kind of true centers. Like, can you find a 5 in the portal, which has really just driven up the cost, for getting those guys. So I'll be curious to see how South Carolina exactly uses him. But someone that they, I think identified pretty early and really just kind of went all in on going into the weekend and got him committed, and someone that I think they're pretty excited to have. And, we'll see what that looks like. I think you're starting to see a little bit of what this roster could be. But now we're at the point where I think how you fill in those other roles, how you fill in those other slots is going to determine, I think, what we think of this team. I also think it's worth remembering, yes, you're going to miss on some guys recruiting in the portal. And ultimately, every school is going to miss on some guys. You just are. So what really is going to matter is, what does this team look like when the portal days are over? Like, when your roster is complete, what does the team look like? Because you're not going to get everybody you go after. You're not going to get everybody you prioritize. They've been swinging for some guys who some other really good programs are going after too. So what exactly does this thing look like for South Carolina when it's all over with is what I think you should judge it on.
Also over the weekend, they added shooting guard from Drexel, Shane Blakeney. That's not a hard name to pronounce. Originally from Lexington, so coming back home. 6'5".
Originally from Rock Hill.
Oh, why do I have Lexington in here? Anyway, he's from South Carolina originally. Led the team in scoring, rebounding, block shots, and steals. Was second on the team in assists. Second team All CAA, and a CAA All Defensive selection this past year at Drexel. So he's a guy that can come in, do a variety of things offensively and defensively for you. Good size at 6'5", and somebody that you could definitely see slotting into that starting lineup for next year's team once you fill the roster out.
Guys, he reminds me a little bit of maybe what South Carolina got in like a Kobe Knox, in that he comes in, can do a little bit of everything, like pretty well-rounded player. His stats show maybe the profile of someone who is not like dominant in any one area, but can just kind of fill it up a little bit for you. The fact that he plays defense, the fact that he can get out on the edge, has a little bit of height, 6'5", can play on the wing and maybe lock guys down and be a little bit more defensive-oriented than some of these other guys South Carolina has added so far. Like, I think you look at Corey Mincy, you look at Camden Heide from Texas. Those guys aren't necessarily, like, just skewed towards being defensive guys. I think adding someone like Blakeney is actually pretty key for South Carolina. Probably is definitely going to be in the rotation. Probably you would slot as being a starter, and was also someone that I think they quietly have felt pretty good about for the last couple of weeks ever since the portal opened. It is a homecoming for him. Played at Legion Collegiate in Rock Hill, and has had a pretty good career to this point, and now will get the chance to show what he can do at the SEC level.
And I think this is one that was, kind of quietly pretty good recruiting get. He had a couple other visits scheduled. Texas Tech was one. I think that's the one that worried everybody, like always worries people now. Texas Tech, oh God, they got tons of money, throwing money around. Texas Tech, Oklahoma, bunch of other schools, including Vandy, NC State, Wisconsin, Memphis, Ohio State, also involved there. And so this looks like a pretty good get. And just zooming out one more time, general. I do think we have to wait. I agree with you, Wes. Let's see. Carolina's taken some big swings on a few guys that have gone elsewhere. But even when the portal closes, there's going to be a long runway to, a bunch of guys out there that haven't signed yet. So it's easy to focus on who you missed on. And some of those guys would have absolutely helped. They were top targets for a reason. You'd love to have those guys. But see who you close out with. It's not about who you miss on, it's who you get, at the end of the day.
Yeah, that I heard that you mentioned NC State. They came in at the end really hard on Blakeney, trying to get him to like hold off, trying to get him not to commit yet, trying to get him to visit first. So that was something South Carolina kind of had to head off. Chris mentioned Texas Tech. Oklahoma was a school that was trying to get him to visit before he made a decision. So yeah, this was a pretty good win for Carolina. Obviously leaning in, I'm sure, on the, hey, come back, play for your home state right down the road in Rock Hill. We've seen them have success with getting guys from either the state of South Carolina or, neighboring area like Charlotte, with a BJ Mack, Elijah Strong, like some of those guys. That's kind of been their bread and butter, I feel like, in the portal so far. And this guy should be someone that steps in and plays a lot of minutes for him.
4 total commitments so far for South Carolina out of the transfer portal. Still more spots to fill. Stay on top of it as they do continue to be committed coming out of the portal. We'll come back, wrap up the hour. How we do on buy or sell over the weekend. We'll discuss that next in the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This hour of in-show listening on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by QC Kinetics in West Columbia, the non-surgical regenerative orthopedic specialists of the Midlands. Request your consultation today by dialing pound 250 and use keyword QC Kinetics.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The New York Giants trading star defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals for the 10th overall pick in Thursday night's draft. A win-win for both teams. For the Giants, now another top 10 pick, 3 picks in the top 37 to add to a talent-deficient roster. And for Cincinnati, an impact defensive player in a season where they absolutely have to win to convince Joe Burrow to stay long-term. I'm Nick Costos.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Turns out, talk isn't cheap. Just talking about affordability doesn't make things affordable. Straight Talk's had the same price since 2009. Plus, their Gold plan includes a Walmart Plus membership and $20 in Walmart cash when you activate. That's more than just talk.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straightforward, always. Valid through May 17, 2026. $20 in Walmart cash for Straight Talk Gold or Platinum plan customers newly enrolling in Walmart Plus. Limit 1 per enrollment and account. Same price claim applies only to base monthly price of the $45 Straight Talk plan beginning October 2009.
Now that Wendy's has these new biggie deals, everyone in the family can get what they're craving, from nugs to JBCs. The parental units can get an $8 biggie bundle, the eldest who think they're so grown can get a $6 biggie bag, and the little one who can do no wrong can get a $4 biggie bites. You know, assuming they have a credit card. No, I'm kidding. We take cash too. $4, $6, and $8 biggie deals for the whole family. Only at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mirafiber gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mirafiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support. All in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mirafiber gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mirafiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support. All in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Tyler Head, along with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Welcome back in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler Head, Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, along with you, wrapping up the hour here on your Monday on the Game. Time to recap how we did on buy or sell from Friday. Set the line at the weekend for 4.5 home runs after Wes's challenge of my first question in terms of how Carolina would do at the plate against Mississippi State pitching. We all bought. They didn't come anywhere close. 1 home run. The lone home run being Ethan Lazam on Friday. His first of the year, by the way.
Yes.
But that was the only one that left the yard for South Carolina on the weekend, unfortunately.
I should have just stuck with your initial one and just sold it instead of challenging.
Hindsight's 20/20, man.
Yeah. Trying to change things. And we, by the way, we came up, so we're now allowed to change one question a week.
You can challenge a question. It is still up to me if I change the question or not. If I feel like your challenge is worthy.
We don't need a third party?
Yes. We don't need a third party.
Okay.
I will
call upstairs.
I will, like in baseball, I'll go off to a room to the side and review the footage, come back out, key up the mic, and
call
let
Birmingham
you know. Call Birmingham, see what they're doing. Waste everybody's time for 20 minutes.
Call in a rules analyst.
Exactly.
We'll just agree with you anyway.
He's going to agree with the call on the field.
That's right.
As those guys like, I think they got it right, Jim. What I see here.
Is it WJOX? Is that the JOX? That's the station in
Birmingham,
Mobile. Can we just? I actually know the producer over there because I think he does Cole Kubelik and those guys' show. Can we just randomly call him and do a challenge? Just see if he answers.
Just give him no context whatsoever.
Yes.
Be like, hey,
like,
man,
what?
so I'm asking the question of 9 total home runs on the weekend or whatever. Wes is challenging. What do you think? He'd be like, who are you?
I think he would play along.
He might play along. We'll see.
Yeah.
But, we all bought on that one. Unfortunately, not the case. Going back to men's basketball, the line was 2 commitments on the weekend by 11 a.m. I was the only, did I sell this? I think I was the only one that sold this. You guys both bought it, and you guys were right.
All right.
It's good. I saw number 3. The Hornets beat the Magic in the play-in game and earned the 8th seed in the playoffs. That did not happen. They lost by 31 points, and the Magic even beat the Pistons in Game 1 yesterday, the only lower seed to win the first game of the series.
Wow.
Not even close.
Not even close.
I mean, what else can you say?
As I texted y'all, my extensive NBA knowledge just came
Wes
through
had
really
been
strong
scouting
here.
all year, building to this moment.
To be fair, the Hornets had beaten them in 3 out of 4 games.
Didn't know that.
Not the one that matters.
Not the one that matters. It doesn't mean anything now. That's just how it goes.
It was
sometimes.
a homer pick.
It was.
You know?
And,
That's what it was.
For us here, it would have given us an NBA team to maybe stay a little more connected with throughout the playoffs. But, that's what happens. And, hey, I don't know. Maybe they're just really that good if they can go in and beat the number 1 seed Pistons in the first game.
Yeah. Good win.
Good win. And, of course, the final question was, would Trick Williams win the United States Championship at WrestleMania? If you haven't heard it, here's how it went.
Zayn measuring his man across the ring. Trick shot! Trick shot! Come out of nowhere! Trick Williams wins the United States title!
Here is your winner, and new United States champion, Trick Williams!
The emotion exploding within Trick Williams.
Little Yachty was there and everything. It was great.
It was awesome, man. I mean, I felt like that was coming, right? Like I feel like it was it wasn't a surprise.
Nah.
By any means, but still a very, very cool moment. His parents were right there, front row for it as well, that they showed. His mom used to, I don't know, she still may. She was worked at a local bank here in Columbia. So very cool to see them. Awesome for just a Columbia native area guy to be doing what he's doing right now. Just a really cool moment.
Question. Now that he has a title, a champion, is this what we need to break the curse of men's sports from the past couple of years? Is Trick Williams winning a title as a male former South Carolina athlete? Is that enough to break the curse?
I'm going to say call Birmingham an ass, but I'm going to say no.
You don't think so?
It's got to be an unscripted event.
Okay.
Wait, what? It's not real?
Well, a couple people on Twitter informed me last night that it's fake. So,
yeah, I'm gonna go with. I think you're a little tongue in cheek on that, but I don't.
I'm just posing a question.
And a former football player, so you got like another tie-in. Yeah. No. Let's hope so, though. I don't think it has anything to do with it.
I'm trying to be optimistic here. Like,
make your own fate.
Maybe we point to this, or I don't know. Well, because we've had baseball since that happened. Because maybe we can point back to Eamon Worry and Ernest Jones winning the Super Bowl. But again, we've had almost a whole baseball season since then. That didn't help. So I'm hoping maybe this is the turnaround. I'm looking for silver linings here, guys.
I appreciate the effort, Tyler.
I'm trying. Well,
hey, South Carolina softball, big series win.
They did win this weekend against Missouri, which they very much needed. So shout out to Ashley Chastain Woodard and that team. They got it done this weekend out in Como. Coming up next, halftime show as your Monday rolls along here on The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored